seconds. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 2023 Spades Fantasy Baseball Post-Draft Odds video. And I'm Dickie Bean, and this is my co-host, Salvatore Kukula. Welcome, Sal.
Thank you, Rich. Welcome. Good to be here. Always is.
Yep, it is. Great day, right? One of the best days.
The draft is, I told everybody the order. Draft day.
Pick the order.
The birth of my kids, my wedding day, birthday, Christmas. In that order.
The best days of the year. We all know we love fantasy baseball, and you've been co-hosting this with me for a long time now. And this is the first time we're going live on the live stream. Any nerves going live?
It's amazing. Nah, you know what? The live sometimes could be a little better. You know, hopefully some people chime in, send us text, and then it could make it part of the show and give us some freestyle ability.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle that. Like, I'm not good with these controls yet. But, you know, we only have 2 people in the room right now that's in the link, but I don't know who's watching. People could be watching it live, but whatever. Welcome if you're watching it live, and we thank you all for your participation. Now, Sal, we love fantasy baseball, and we love draft day. And, you know, we had to change the venue. You know what I mean? And we did it at your restaurant. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
Okay, 808 Bistro, a great restaurant in Scarsdale. I recommend anybody going, just go to it. And we didn't do it in Paulie's room, and you know, Paulie's always great to us, but it was an intimate room, right? A little tight. My brother said it was tight. Do you agree with him?
You know what? If maybe there was 10 more feet of room, but I think it all went well. I don't think anybody was breathing on top of anybody. We were all close. We could hear everybody except Chris with the air horn. Maybe he wanted to make sure everybody was listening.
That was inappropriate. Chris Donnie with that air horn. Richie Stark probably had a headache for 2 days, and James Yost worked the night shift and didn't sleep. And you're lucky he didn't shoot you, you know. But anyway, not to say that, but that was inappropriate. That air horn is not made for inside that room.
But the one thing that did come out of it was the classic response from you, which I couldn't stop laughing for about 3 rounds.
You guys were laughing a lot.
Oh, it was funny. Yeah. It was great.
You use that when you're 4,000 miles off the coast of the Atlantic and your boat breaks down. Not in a little bistro.
That's the one.
Anyway, another thing, Sal, is you and Walter Palmer are the defending champs.
Yep.
And Walter's great. Thank you, Walter. The cigar after the draft, I loved it. And I went to your cigar lounge and I put the results in there. And your 3rd championship, right? In not that long of a span. And Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. What's going on here? Let's fix this. Okay, let's fix that. And the Hall of Fame inductions. How do you feel about being a Hall of Fame member?
Oh, it felt great. I mean, the anticipation all year, you know, it's what we put the hard work in for. You know, there's a ton of leagues, and I'm in a couple leagues every year, but we all know that the Spades League is the #1 fantasy league in all of sports.
Yeah, and I got people joining up in here, so I'm just trying to get used to these controls. I want to make sure that we're the only 2 people on the screen. If it goes in and out once in a while, I apologize. I see 24 home runs trying to get on, but they must not have a camera. We can't do this, right? That's what we can't do. Okay. I think I might have to get these guys out of the thing.
No, let them on without a camera. Let them on, leave them
there.
No,
but every time they sign,
it doesn't matter. We don't have to even look at it. We're in the corner. We don't have to watch us.
Who do we got on here? We got CJ Explosion.
Oh, that's Chris.
That's Chris Donnie?
Jr. That's Chris Donnie Jr.
And then Frank Pellegrino says, "Where's Joe Ciambetti?" They don't understand. Joe Ciambetti was only like a draft moderator, okay? And I thank Frank. Frank Pellegrino helped me so much with my whatever. And we only do this once a year. And Chris Donnie, you think he's upset because we did the video with him last year?
Well, that's a great question. Do you think? Now, mind you, I don't make any of those decisions. I'm just a co-host on a great show, an award-winning show. Mm-hmm. Do you think he had a little bit of a hater, a Josh Hader ism in him?
He was a Josh Hader all week, and I wasn't mad at him, but he tried to steal our thunder a little bit.
I got the you know I don't think he's a jealous guy, but it came across that way.
Yeah.
So that's why I made the joke, the Josh Hader, because he loves to do the songs and he always does that.
Yeah.
You know, why you got to be Chad Cool last year, which was great. So now you're Josh Hader this year.
Yeah, and what he was doing was he was basically giving his own evaluations on our league website. And I felt like, you know, we were busy. We had an auction draft. I had to be an auctioneer the next night at an auction draft. and then Sal was going to the Yankee game, and we just couldn't have time to do it until tonight. And I felt like he was trying to take advantage of the time that we couldn't do it. You know, I don't know. You know, we'll say. Oh, my brother's in here too. He said he taught me everything he knows. I'm glad. Everybody, if you're watching, I hope you're watching on YouTube. Again, I sent everybody the link to StreamYard. Well, they always call Joe being a real bean team, but you know, we don't control this that well. So you're best just watching it on YouTube. If you want to chime in, chime in. Anyway, let's get into the draft, Sal. Okay, another draft.
Yep.
Another great day.
Yep.
We love it. First of all, my personal opinion, I love the room. Okay, and what I love about the room is that it isn't small. You have to understand, some of these leagues that do drafts, they share tables. They have smaller rooms. Almost everybody had their own table, with the exception of Stark and Yost, but they were on a big table, so you can't share a big table. And Paulie and Tony, again, but they were on like a little bit of a big table. You can't. A single person should never have a big table.
We did a draft before that. It's a different setup kind of league with 19 or 20 teams and a bunch of partners, and it was a smaller room than we drafted at.
Yeah, definitely, and the food was great. And you selected Jamaican style oxtail with coconut rice as your championship dish. And it was really, really, really good.
It's one of my favorites.
Why oxtail?
It's one of my favorites. It's a great cut of meat. It used to be super cheap, but now it's a little more on the pricey side. But
yeah,
I mean, once you render all the fat out, you're just stuck with a whole bunch of deliciousness and flavor and you know, if you have some Jamaican friends and you ever had it from them, they man, fi have enough guy.
Me thinks, man.
they do it incredibly well. So it was a show of love.
And Sal is a chef owner, so you know people who, if you're on the live stream or you'll walk, there go the horns over there outside because everybody's waiting for the light. Sal is a great chef, so anytime he makes something, it's really awesome, and people love his food. And he also had chicken scarpadiello. We had orchillete with braciape and sausage. We had sol francese. We had these potato croquettes. Thank you, Chris Donnie. He brought the delicious for AJ Burgers. AJ Burgers on North Avenue in New Rochelle. Great little burger joint. Makes some of the best potato croquettes. Very soft, bready. I love them. They're not that heavy croquette that people love.
A ton of things that AJ does is incredible. So I would definitely recommend getting to New Rochelle and try him out as well.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for everybody who brought, Chris Picone, who brought the Dunkin' Donuts, and Anthony DeRue, who brought the bagels. And that's all. But what happened was a lot of people arrived early.
You know what? I thought I had a feeling, because Chris didn't even come out and hang out, and he said he was getting home early. I had a feeling he'd be there before me. I thought there was a slight chance that you would be there before me, but I doubted it, only because of the time limit. I know what time you were trying to get there. I got there at 10 after 6, and the lights were on, and Chris was already moving some tables, and it was incredible.
Yeah, it was good. We set up the night before. You tried to sabotage me and keep me up late. Anyway, tell me about the bell ceremony and what it means to you and Walter. And, if you want to speak on Walter's behalf, what it means to, and the belt's right here, everybody. You see this? We put the belt in the background.
Well, Walter and I spoke about it. He was very impressed. We loved it. Again, thank you to everybody. Thank you to the league. Thank you, Richie. Big thanks to Chris. He did buy us a little something that he gave us before draft day, which was very, very thoughtful. Just
he bought you a lighter.
He gave Walter a lighter that said Bistro Smokers Hall of Fame, and he gave me a poker chip card protector that said Bistro Smokers Hall of Fame. Very thoughtful.
Yeah. Chris Donnie's a super good person. Act. Yeah. And one thing about our league is we have a lot of very generous and great people. And they're generous to me because, I'm amongst these giants that are just so good. Their hearts are so big. And they give to me more than you could understand. And to have a draft at one of the owner's restaurants, and for guys to bring bagels, bring donuts, bring food, and other things that people do for everybody in this room, it's just awesome. We love each other, and everybody means a lot to each other. And it's one of the first times we haven't added anybody new. I mean, Gabriel Rodriguez is new, but that's Bronco's partner. Bronco's not new. And, that don't really count. He's a new part of Bronco, but he was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
He's a great guy. Energy. I hope he stays in the league. You know what I mean?
And I got to tell you, receiving the belt from Daryl for Walter and I was great. Daryl and Sneaky Pete, because Daryl's the legend. So to get to have that honor, and then the King of Spades. It is what it is. Say it loud, say it proud. Chris Bracone, Anthony Daru, King of Spades, to induct us in.
Yeah, we got them. If you can see up here, it's hard to see.
Dynamite.
I made the 24 home run King of Spades shirt, and wasn't that a great surprise because it's got on the back.
It was amazing.
You know what I mean?
Which would have been the shirt that I would have wore today, except I got a small one, so I'm working on getting into that one because that's a great shirt. If I fit it, I was going to wear it today. I wear every shirt that we have during the year, multiple times.
Yeah, so we give the shirts now to the champions. It's a good thing, and it doesn't come out of the league. You know what I mean? It's my gift because, like I said, people are so generous to me. I have to give back to them. All right, so let's go over the draft order real quick. And I got the number 1 pick, and I had a dream, and I was talking to Torch that I have a feeling, and I got it. And the number 1 pick is not always the easiest pick to handle. Now, I got tons of years and tons of experience, so I actually kind of liked it because I wanted Ronald Acuna, and I felt like an early pick would get me an early 3rd round pick.
Can we stop for a minute?
You can stop.
I'm here to evaluate your team. You can give me some questions.
No, I'm just going over the draft order.
All right.
No, not to have a little. You want to we could get this heated if you want.
No, I don't want to heat it.
All right, I'll just tell the draft order.
What I would say is that we had a big week for woohoos, which is amazing.
Well, not yet. Let's start. Well,
go ahead.
The woohoos. Amazing. Let's do the draft order, and then we'll talk about opening day woohoos. So we went Bean Team first. They killed Killer B was second. Underdogs was third. The young guys, Anthony Mondrone and Gus Bovine.
Young and full of cum.
Yep. Young, dumb, full of cum. Big Macs and their corner table. They took the corner. They took a good table. I thought 24 home run was going to take that table. Tony's Tigers. Tony looked exhausted, came late. Thank God he sat with Paulie. Bistro Smokers in the 6th spot. You had to love that pick. But it's in a little bit of the no man's zone. You know what I mean? But also there's a factor about that we'll talk about later. A team has no name, Jared and Leo Tikiel. Ultimate Price, James Yost. Other guys, Joey and Tommy D'Amico was the 8th pick. MVP, Paulie Scavello, which I felt like there was a little pressure off of him because it's not in his venue. And that's what I even told Paul. I had a conversation with him the next day. And I love the fact that he was so much more comfortable. I told him, forget baseball in his venue. Football, he was like, we could do football, but I'd rather have Paulie be more comfortable and enjoy himself. Anyway, Team Archer 11th, 24 home run 12th, Bloody 9 13th. You think Chris Donnie was happy with 13th?
Bloody 9? He probably would have liked 14 or 15 or 10 better.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, if there's anybody that can handle a 13th pick, it's Chris Donnie. So
he comes prepared. We'll talk about him. Cream Team 14th. He's always in the back of the draft. And Richard Stark, Metropolitan, is 15th.
And he put the energy in the air early. He said, "Watch, I'm gonna get another bad pick, late pick, 15. It's gonna happen. Trust me." Blah blah blah. His energy spoke it into existence.
I'm so happy you said energy because when we talk about him, he could be so much better if he put a little more energy and effort into it. Anyway, that's the draft order, and then Sal. The waiver order, we're not going to go over the waiver order, but it does, when we repick the first week's waiver order and we feed off of that year round, that's important too. There's strategy to that too. So, some people have early picks, some people have 8th picks, but why is it so important? Because all of the opening day woohoos. How many woohoos did we have? We had Max Fried. Woohoo! We had, who else did we have? We had Justin Verlander. Woohoo!
Ryan Pepio.
Who else? Ryan Pepio. Woohoo! We might even have some other ones that we haven't even. We had an MRI on Wilson Contreras, but he's okay. There's another woohoo that I'm forgetting about. So
Luis Arias.
And you know what? I told Sal, what does woohoo mean? So listen, I'm going to just say it. I'm going to say it to all of you. I'm going to go public with this, okay? I own a team, okay? Granted, I run this league. But whether I'm in a league, my league, any league, what's best is when the other team owners get injuries. And you know what? You don't say it out loud because, but when someone gets hurt and he's not on your team, woo-hoo! Woo! And that's what it's all about, right?
You know what? For you, I hate rooting for injuries, and you'll never catch me doing that. But I do find it hilarious.
I don't root for injuries, but it is.
But I do find it hilarious when I see it.
Leo hates it. Leo hates it. Anyway, what about the Joe Bean effect at the draft?
I like Joe Bean being there. It was great to see him. He was a surprise guest.
I did keep it. A couple of people knew about it.
I got lucky. You slipped up a little bit.
I did slip up, but whatever.
But it was great having him in the room. I wish you would still utilize him a little more.
Well, it was the first time.
Okay,
he'll evolve into the position.
Yeah. Well,
he wants to do it again.
I think that you were still kind of like.
Well, because
trying to be
I know, but not so much because he
good.
Couldn't spell the names.
Okay,
he made $120 and he ate for free, and you sent food home to his wife, which we better get a report if your wife Joe liked the angel hair pomodoro and the General Tao's cauliflower, which you told me she did not eat. She's a vegetarian or a vegan, whatever you want to call it. She's great. Trina's great. So we'll get the report on that. But Joe Bean was great. He sat me a torch.
Well, to be fair, I don't think she ate the angel hair at the time that we spoke to him a day or two later.
I know.
And angel hair is one of those dishes you got to kind of eat, the same day.
Do you think he lied and Joey ate it?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That'll be the Joey Gate scandal. For
Joey Gate. Joe Bean Gate.
Love it.
He's got a podcast, Joe, on the Joe Benny channel. And he just adopted a child, Vincenzo Joe Benny. So we have a new member of the Benny family. And we congratulate Joey, and Joey's going to be a great father. Okay, and he loved doing this. He was there, and everybody loved seeing him. He hugged everybody, and I hope he does it every year, and he will because he makes money. Joey's all about the money. Okay. Anyway, he's making comments too, calling us amateurs. James Mooney called us an amateur. Anyway, Sal, so we did that. We are live streaming. That we don't even care about the pressure. We don't care if we make mistakes. We don't give a crap. So anyway, Sal, we are going to begin the odds, okay? The best part. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I had the number one pick, and we always go in draft order, and we talk about my team first. Now, it's kind of up to Sal to grill me, but I'll speak a little bit about me personally. First of all, I don't pick the draft order. The champion always picks the draft order. So I was saying before, I was talking to Torchio, John Torchio, Team Archer, days leading up. I always talk to him. I help him a lot. He might not want to admit it. And I was like, Torch, I have a feeling I get the number one pick. It's been a long time. And what happens? I get the number one pick. Salvatore Cuculo and his partner, Walter Palmer, picked it. And, not everybody can handle the number one pick. And I don't know if I handled it well or not, but I was kind of happy because I had a third round target. So what I felt about the draft personally was the turnaround when you go from one and you don't go again didn't seem as long. But combining that with Joe Bean helping me, Joe Benny helping me, and me having the time to actually not worry about what Joey was doing, the clock and stuff, it helped a lot. And I felt like I was able to cross names off a little bit better. I'd have to fumble my papers. I also cut my prep down. So I thought it helped me. But my thing was all of a sudden, I was talking to Torch, and you have a problem that I talked to Torch because he's a different team at the same table. Why do you have a problem with that?
Well, we break your balls about it, but should you help people during the draft? Is that integrity or not? Because maybe and you're looking at everybody else's roster, and maybe you might not be giving them the best advice, but you'll probably think you are, or you might want to throw them for a loop because you're looking at the rosters and you're saying, "Oh, this guy needs this. Get this guy." It's like that. So that's like a little collusion.
But no, I don't tell him who needs what.
I'm just saying maybe you're thinking that.
More people come up to me.
Nobody knows. How do we know?
But you see how many people come up to me during the draft? I mean, Darryl comes up to me all day.
But was Darryl coming up to you?
Yes,
he who to draft, or is this guy available?
He asked me who's available.
That's different.
But he's still asking me about players.
But he's giving you a name.
When you see, one thing you don't do is you never sit with another team. And you could ask all these guys who sit with another team. And I didn't talk to Richard Stark or James Jones. But I bet you Richard Stark was bugging James Jones. And James Jones does not like to be bothered because he is a fucking player.
I don't think Rich Stark was bugging anybody. He would
no, but I bet you.
Player
what about Paulie and Tony Palumbo? Were they talking? We'll have to ask them.
The Islanders. I don't know.
They are city. They kiss each other's assholes sitting on people. Anyway, my theory, before Sal says he's going to give me some questions so we can talk about my team, I felt like this year's fantasy baseball draft was all about offense. Get the offense. One, rules changes, okay? We didn't talk about them, but the shorter distance from first to second, the bases, the pitch clock. I think the pitchers have an advantage with the pitch clock. So, and we are no longer doing this whole little juice ball thing. So I feel like there will be better pitchers, more pitchers, and less offense. So coming into the draft, my mentality was leave the draft room with a good offense. I also targeted third base, and I did not walk out with a top third baseman, but third base was weak. So I took a shot with a young rookie playing in Colorado. So that was mentality coming to the draft. And the pitching group, all of a sudden, people started going for pitching. And there was one or two guys. There was a time when I took Andrew Vaughn, when I could have took Jeffrey Springs. And I super targeted Jeffrey Springs. But I was caught in the hairs of the crossroads and stuff like that. And I said, take Andrew Vaughn because I love Andrew Vaughn. But people were going for pitching, but they had a lot of pitching.
All right. Listen, fuck the bullshit. Part of my cursing. Let's start with Acuna.
Okay, do you want me to run off my first 9 picks?
I kind of got him, but go ahead.
Okay. So I went Ronald Acuna, Matt Olson, Corbin Carroll. A lot of criticism. Everybody wanted Corbin Carroll. Let's stop lying about that. Christian Javier, Adley Rutschman, Taylor Ward, lead off on that Angels team. Jeremy Pena. What was all over Pena because of the Altuve injury. He would move up in the lineup. I wasn't worried about the sophomore slump. Jordan Walker. Okay, everybody wanted Walker, but then they wanted Volpe, and they got confused. And then Andrew Vaughn. That was my top 9 picks. Complain about that.
I'm not complaining. I will say a couple things. There's enough to complain about there. But I want to say, is Acuna the safe bet, or you think he's an injury risk again this year? Because over the last 4 years,
Acuna,
he only played over 500 at bats. One of them, and that's 5 years.
You're gonna have to make me a drink soon.
I will. You're gonna need it.
First of all, who did you have? I
love Acuna. I'm asking a question that I think is a fair question.
Okay, now because of the injury stuff,
yeah,
I felt like I really felt like Aaron Judge was the most valuable player, the number 1 pick. But my issues with Judge was the contract year and that monster year. That don't mean he won't have another monster year, just not as good as last year. So if Judge were to steal 15, 20 bases and have a close year, he's number 1. But, you got to go a little bit more like outside the box thinking. So I felt like Acuna was the clear-cut number 1 favorite, minus the fact that he almost bats leadoff, I think.
I mean, if he's healthy and doesn't sit out games, then he's a 30-30 guy, no complaints, number 1 pick, or, at least arguable number 1 and number 2 between him and Judge. But let's move on. I'll go to Carroll.
By the way, Chris Donnie, who's in the cast, says, move to the left, your shirt is crooked. He doesn't realize that it's crooked because of the work that Anthony Mondroni's dad did.
That's yep. I mean, it is a crooked shirt.
Yeah, but whatever. Anyway, so now that's what happens when you get involved and get us off tangent. So are you saying I made the wrong pick? Yes or no? Let's close this out for Uncle.
I probably would have took Acuna myself.
Okay, no problem.
To the Carroll pick. Now, the first pick in the 3rd round, first pick overall in the 3rd round, I think that's a reach for Carroll.
You can't look at it that way.
But what I'm going to say is, I think the feedback that you got in the room was a little too harsh that day, because if you wanted Carroll and he's a target of yours, you weren't going to get him coming back.
Yeah, that's 28 more picks coming back.
Yeah, so you weren't going to get him. So if you really wanted him, which led me to believe, why did you want the first pick and you targeted him in the 3rd round? So maybe your prep is a little off.
No, my prep was not off, but you brought up the peanut gallery criticism of the pick. We don't care about that.
Well, that's what I'm letting you know, that I thought it was a little harsh.
Okay.
But if you wanted him, you had to get him there because he wasn't coming back.
So my 3rd round pick was Corbin Carroll.
Ward. Let's talk about Ward.
No, I want to stay on, before we go to Ward, I want to stay on Carroll. First of all,
Carroll?
1 minute, okay? Everybody wanted Carroll. So the minute I yelled out Corbin Carroll's name, everybody's heart broke. Because everybody was thinking, I got the 4th pick in the 3rd round. I got the 7th pick in the 3rd round.
And he still got
my ADP is 37. My ADP is 43. But I got him.
And he still has to prove that he could do it.
But I was taking him in the 3rd round no matter what. So why does it matter if I have the first pick of the third round or the 12th pick of the third round? I'm taking him. So he's on my team. That's my explanation.
He's on your team. Good. God bless.
Okay.
Ward, typical magazine pick. I knew you were going to go for him right there. Amazing.
I thought Leo Tecchio and Jared Tecchio were all over Ward. But what don't you like about Taylor Ward?
Pena.
Wait, what don't you like about magazine pick, you're saying?
I think he's more of a risk.
All right, Jeremy Pena.
I think you have a couple risks on your team.
Stay with Jeremy Pena. Go on.
He did it multiple years. I know he's on a great team, but I just don't see him at that point of the draft going so high. That was my opinion.
Okay, so the funny thing you talk about Pena is I was off of Pena, okay? But one thing that you have to do is when you prep for fantasy baseball, and let's say you start your prep 5-6 weeks ago, right? And then you constantly, keep it going and your prep gets a little more in depth. And then you do your little 2 weeks before the draft, 1 day, 1 week before the draft. So about a week before the draft, mainly after the Altuve injury, I was doing my shortstops, okay? And my in-depth review of shortstops. And I felt like I misranked Jeremy Pena. And then you find that this guy is going to start batting higher in the lineup. There's no Altuve, and Altuve is supposed to be out for a couple of months. I think he's going to come back quicker. But what happens is that Jeremy Pena is going to bat first, bat second. He stole some bases last year. The new rules are going to make him steal more, and he's going to show the Astros that he could bat at the top of the lineup. And I like that opportunity. So what I started doing was I misjudged him. I bumped him up. Let's not forget the fact that he had a good year as a rookie. I'm not afraid of the sophomore slump. He plays in Houston. He plays in a national lineup, and I bumped him up.
You're defending yourself too much. That means you feel a certain way about it. Let's go. Let's talk about it a little bit later in the draft. Let's go.
Okay.
Name some of the
8th pick
players.
was Jordan Walker. 9th was
I mean, I love Walker, who didn't come into the year.
So then 10 to 18 was I needed pitching. So what happened was I went Chris Sale, Reed Detmers, Drew Rasmussen, Jonathan India, Miguel Vargas, Nathan Eovaldi, Jose Clerk, Eleuterius Montero, Jimmy Herget.
Brutal. Oh, you can't be serious with that. First of all, you're missing the 2 P's. Fantasy baseball is about 2 P's: power and pitching, which you have none. You need power.
Matt Olson's not power?
Yeah, well, that's one. That's 2 guys. You have a couple guys. I'm talking about a whole team. You have guys that you're wishing on that them having a good year. You have guys that you need to have good year. You have the risky players that you're hoping they have a good year. It's almost like you
don't like Jonathan India? Instead of getting Jeffrey Springs, I got Drew Rasmussen.
I'm not the biggest.
You're not on Reed Detmers. Everybody was on. When I yelled at Reed Detmers, everybody was on.
I like Reed Detmers.
I broke a lot of hearts.
But he's your third pitcher. He's your third starter, second or third
Chris
starter.
Sale is risky, but everybody started going for pitcher. What do you want me to do?
That's another risky guy. So, I mean, I'm just being honest and unbiased review of Richie Bean's team.
And I took Jose Leclerc because, I felt like don't
get
get involved.
No
That's not true. I got closes.
Well, Leclerc,
I got closes.
You got part-time closes.
You can't devote your whole team to closes because the position is weak.
All you need is 2 of them.
Closes will kill you, will destroy your whole mental aspect of this game. You will go closes, and then they will disappoint you. All right, so then we go 19 through 26. Michael Conforto, okay?
Another risk.
Okay, of course. Upside, though. Michael Clevenger, risky. Upside. AJ Minter, because Iglesias ain't back yet, but Iglesias ain't. But Iglesias won't be out a long time. But
Iglesias.
Do I sneak in 3 or 4 saves? I might sneak in 3 or 4 saves.
You're going to waste that pick for 3 saves?
Yes, I will. I will do that.
That's why you.
Sal Frelick as my minor leaguer. I like him.
If he even comes up this year.
Garrett Whitlock was a great late pick. Luis Garcia is only there because I got to wait for Miguel Vargas to qualify. Okay? Aroldis Chapman because hold on a second. Chapman. Look what they did with Munoz. Look what they did with Duran. Yesterday on opening day, they made it clear. Munoz is a closer, Duran is a closer. What if Barlow is not the closer and Chapman is the closer?
Chapman sucks.
He does suck.
You don't want over 4 ERA guy as your closer.
And Alex Thomas is only there until Conforto qualifies. Anyway, Sal, to get away from my team, if you want to stop talking about my team,
power and pitching, he lacks. Look, 2 P's.
Look, guys, this is a dangerous team. Okay, First of all, everybody right now is looking at my team, right? And I'm talking to all of you out there. You're looking at my team. You're saying, Richie has offense. Okay? Richie has offense. And that is the name of the game of the fantasy year. It's about offense. Okay? And I will challenge anybody's offense. And then when it comes time to trading, I'll have the offense. That's number one. Number two is I loved having the number one pick. I got a lot of guys I targeted. Okay, I took some gambles. My goal was don't waste these late picks. Don't waste late picks. Go for upside.
I did like Rutschman this year. You have to go for upside, but you can't take too many of those.
You got to go for upside.
You need a lot of them to work to make it happen.
Anyway, I'm going to give the odds of my team. My odds, okay, because I'm the first team to talk about.
This is going to be shocking, by the way, gentlemen.
No, because there's some good teams. Okay.
What are your odds?
My odds are 15-1.
That's shocking, gentlemen.
Okay. I'm right outside the top contenders.
And I definitely do want to preface this like I do every year. I just talk about the teams with him. I tell him good or bad about his team. I do not make the odds in any way.
Yeah.
These are all Richie Bean odds.
Sal don't like the fact that people call him up and say, why do you hate my team? But I do the odds. Sal is just my co-host. Okay. 15-1. Okay. If my pitching comes together, I probably win this title running away with it. Okay?
If you don't have a top 5 offense in the league.
I have the best offense in the league.
Oh.
I have what I think is the best offense in the league. Okay? So that's the Bean team, 15-1, just outside top contention, but
bottom third finish this year for him, in my opinion.
Okay. Anyway, we're gonna go to They Killed Killer B.
They killed Killer B.
So we could call them KKB, whatever you want to call them. This is Bronco Jakinchak and Gabriel Rodriguez. And Gabriel Rodriguez is new. Okay. And what's great about Gabriel is he looks like the guy from Half Baked. Can you see that? I don't think you can see that. When he says they killed Killer B.
They killed Killer B.
Yeah. He looks just like him. So they named him like that. So go back and watch Half Baked. And what was great about him, I was talking to Gabriel before the draft slightly, because the first time I met him. We couldn't say his last name because his last name is Rodriguez. And there's a lot of Rodriguez in baseball. Okay, you need to make me a drink, please. Okay. And when you have a Rodriguez name, it's not about Julio Rodriguez. It's about Grayson Rodriguez. It's about Eduardo Rodriguez.
Race Yellow Glazes.
It's about a bunch of Rodriguezes. So I had to introduce him as Gabriel No Names. Anyway, after the draft, I spent some time with him. And he was telling me how
we hung out after the draft.
Yeah, they went to the WBC and the Puerto Rico, Venezuela game, whatever the games were. And I was like, I wish I was there. Remember we were talking about to go to Miami for one night to watch, was it Venezuela, Puerto Rico, or Dominican Republic?
PR.
Yeah, like, and being in Miami for that game. Because who doesn't love Miami? So anyway, and he was telling me, thank you, Sal. Yep. He was also telling me how it's either his nephew, his cousin, or somebody was like, wanted to know his draft results. A younger part of his family. It's a nephew, his brother, his cousin, something like that, who was eager to know his draft results. And because he had a draft the next night, a 12-teamer.
Got it.
Okay, so
this was good practice for him.
Well, we don't know because the 12-teamer could have been an online draft, and there's nothing like drafting in person.
I agree.
So Gabriel, I thought Bronco and Gabriel picked a really good table.
That's one of my favorite tables in the house.
Yeah, they did. They picked a great table. But Bronco arrived early enough. Okay, he got comfortable. And one thing leading up to the draft he told me was, I don't know if I'm going to go with paper or computer, but I'm leaning toward paper because it would be the second year he'd go with paper. But if it doesn't work out, next year I'm going to computer. And computer means the draft software. The steroids some of you league members use.
That's a total crock of shit, but whatever. Whatever he went last year, if it didn't work, he should have just switched it all. But he pulled a secret weapon out. And I think speaking to Gabriel, he knows baseball.
We don't know if he knows baseball.
He definitely knows baseball. Whether he knows fantasy baseball in depth is a different story. We'll have to figure that out as we go along.
Well, I mean, there's one thing to know baseball, and there's one thing to walk into our draft room and then get your ass kicked.
Do you think he was a deer in headlights at all?
No,
at
no,
any
no.
time
I
during
think he
the-
enjoyed himself because we talk about our draft room so much, and we do football too. And not that we're perfect, and not that we're the greatest people on earth, but there comes a time when you must say to yourself, like there comes a time, if you're especially a new person, right? You must say to yourself, "This is great." Who's beeping the horn? This is great.
They
It's
wanna
great
part
to
of the
be
show.
here. I should shut that window.
No, they want to be a part of the show. That's why they're honking.
Anyway, so we enjoyed his company. We hope he had a good time. He really he did a great job. So the KKB went Aaron Judge. Okay, don't forget they were near me by the draft. And if there's ever a person you don't want to be near me, because I had one day or two, is me. Aaron Judge, Francisco Lindor, Ozzy Albies, Julio Urias. Okay, totally great. Teoscar Hernandez, George Kirby. Everybody wanted Kirby. Christian Yelich. Yelich has kind of come up again. You know what I mean? As far as people kind of gave up on him a little bit, but now he's becoming this little bit of a sneaky run scored batting average speed guy. Bryce Harper. Okay, he did his little rap thing. He kind of confused me for a while. I kind of liked it. And I like it now. I didn't understand it at first.
Well, who was the
And then Nestor Cortez. So, Judge, Lindor, Albies. I like because it was almost like the wraparound. Lindor, Albies. I kind of like that.
That was the first couple picks that he has, you can't argue with any of them. That's really good power to have up front. A little speed in there mixed. It's an impressive first 3 or 4.
When he took Lindor, I was about to go for Lindor. Don't forget, I'm the next guy after Bronco and Gabriel. So my goal was if he doesn't pick Lindor, I was going to go Lindor, Corbin Carroll. So he goes Lindor. And then one of my picks was Matt Olson. So he goes Albies. So I had a dilemma, Albies, Olson, but I felt like get the first baseman. Anyway, this top 9 is sick. I could argue Bryce Harper a little too early because the hurt guys were going later. And we also had a couple of unprofessional teams make hints in the draft room.
Yep.
And might have brought Bryce Harper to light.
Yep.
And they might have jumped. They might have panicked.
Yep.
Because we saw Altuve didn't go as early as he probably should have went. So anyway, you get Bryce Harper, right? 1 through 9. Now we go 10, Kyle Wright. Red flag right away, right?
Yeah, he's a red flag. I like him, but he's not gonna repeat what he did last
year. He doesn't repeat. So and that was a nervous pick because I needed pitching at that time. And Gabriel Moreno in the 11th round. Moreno, that's kind of early.
Moreno went a little early. Again, a lot of these unproven guys, they can pan out, but I think I definitely could have got him later on in the draft.
You can't take Gabriel Moreno that early. Brady
Maybe
Singer,
he wanted his namesake, Gabriel.
Gabriel, yes. Listen, Gabriel, you're my partner. Let's get a Gabriel.
See, maybe next year you don't say Gabriel or Rodriguez.
What do I say?
Team no name.
God, we can't say that. We have a team that's no name already. But I didn't think of that. Gabriel Rodriguez maybe wanted a Gabriel on the team.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll have to ask them. And then he goes, Brady Singer. Why were the books, the podcasters, the blowheads all on Brady Singer?
How could you not like him? He had a decent year last year. He's a big strikeout guy, and he can improve.
He was 150 for 150, and he plays on a Royals team that, again,
the Royals are a mediocre team, but he's still Singer, and he may not have had his breakout year yet. That was
he was overrated?
A big improvement. Not coming into this year.
What about Tristan Casas?
Tristan Casas. I liked him. I thought that was a little early, but he's a big power bat and a great ballpark to hit. So I was on him this year.
Giovanni Gallegos, Esteury Ruiz. Everybody wanted Ruiz because they felt they would get a lead from there with all kinds of speed. Speed is power. Sonny Gray, Giovanni Urshela, Jorge Polanco. I wanted no part of Polanco because of that knee injury. He's not even back yet.
Right.
I mean, he didn't even play that much in the spring. I mean, that's like super red flag, man.
And they have him.
But I liked him coming into the year, but stay away from him.
In this league, you have to try and stay away from the injury guys. Even if it's a small injury, sometimes it just works against you. And that doesn't mean that I don't get caught up in it sometimes, because we definitely draft some injury guys hoping that they come back sooner. But a knee injury is very tough. They're expecting him back, I guess, end of April. Don't be surprised if it goes mid-May.
Someone just called me a dork because of my hat. You know, we might have to shut the window in the room, Sal, because these horns are blowing. Anyway, this is what I have to say about them. Okay, their top 9. You could question Bryce Harper. Bronco and Gabriel's top 9 are fucking awesome. And I kept saying, and then my brother was saying the same thing. My brother, who's just a draft assistant, I was saying like, yeah, I like this team. I like KKB. I like this team. And after the evaluation, this top 9 is sick. And it's like really awesome. But then 10 to 18, there's too many question marks. I mean, Kyle Wright coming into the year with a shoulder injury, coming off that year with 21 wins, you gotta sense regression, right?
Definitely, we're right. Yep.
Gabriel Moreno, you can't take him 11th.
A little
early. Brady Singer, the books were on him. You know, and then toward the back, the 17th pick, Giovanni Urshela, right? I mean, come on, you got to go deeper than that.
I'm not an Urshela guy.
Yeah, like I would have took Jorge Polanco before Urshela, and I wouldn't have taken Jorge Polanco because he's red flag, right? So then 19 to 26, Jorge Lopez. Why are you taking Jorge Lopez? Right?
He's not going to end up. He's not going to end up. I mean, maybe the setup man.
When he became a Twin last year, he pitched horribly. Trent Grisham, I like the Michael King pick. I really do. Curtis Mead, your prospect is Mead. You pick Mead over Manzano? And you're picking a prospect like Mead in the 22nd round? Dylan Floro, Bryce Johnson? That's a drop. Sir Anthony Dominguez, Josh Donaldson.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, so these guys opened up the first 9 rounds. Amazing. And then all of a sudden, they destroyed each other's whatever they did and fell apart.
Were they over-analyzing themselves? Were they drinking at the draft? Because sometimes that can affect you. I get stronger as I drink.
But
Some people
beer.
don't.
They were drinking beer.
Oh, that's like a White Claw. Okay.
My brother is Joe Bean. He loves them.
I love them too. They're great.
Could the real Bean jinx be the Joe Bean fact that he loves them? The Joe Bean jinx?
Oh, see? That's something that we can talk about.
It goes to show you that coming early to the draft room doesn't mean much because they were early. This draft reeks of being unprepared. Didn't they cram like the night before or 2 nights before?
They're the reason you came up with the phrase cramming this year, which
cramming.
every year he's been having a great phrase or a great word. This year was cramming. It was amazing. I got to tell you, they came in to my restaurant one night after a cram session at a local bar. And they were a little boxed up. We had a couple more drinks with them.
They came in after the cram
They came in after the cram session. And then I asked them, I said, how many times did you get together this year to prep? And their answer was, this was our first one.
The first prep.
The first in-person prep. That's what they told me. Yeah. They said they spoke over the phone, but is that really the same as real prep?
I mean, you can't be doing that. You can't, like, the first time you get a new partner, meet up like a couple of nights. And Mickey Spillane's, by the way.
And this is what separates the draft. Is it's easier to have a solid top 9 pick, but once you start to get after that, and then you see the papers start flying at certain tables, and then that's where the real prep comes in, is those picks and then the late picks.
Yeah, one thing I will say, and I don't want Gabriel to take this personally, okay? He's a nice guy. He's a super guy. But I don't think he had great energy. But I don't think he added much as far as baseball knowledge goes, okay? That might hurt his feelings. I actually thought Bronco did better last year. And Gabriel wasn't even there.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And again, I'm sorry, Gabriel. I don't mean that. It's not personal like that. I felt like Bronco did everything right coming to the draft early. And I'm not saying you were the factor that he might have did better last year. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that both of you in the future, moving on, need to prep earlier. Need to do things earlier. Okay? And that's all I'm saying with that. You can't go rounds 10 through 26 with these results.
Chris just said something hilarious on text.
What
he said Bronco was a rapper and he needed a Brady singer. That's amazing.
You guys couldn't handle the closer issues, okay? And your closers are horrible. You got desperate here. And you open up so strong and you lacked stamina. You need to have stamina at these drafts. You can run 6 furlongs, but you cannot go 1 mile and an eighth. Okay? You can't waste an 8-round pick on Harper when you have a draft this bad. Okay? Is Bronco built for this league?
I think
I'm not saying Gabriel isn't, because this is their first time.
There's a chance that you have to get better. It's not an easy league. It's not an easy league to adapt to. There are still owners in this league for tons of years that haven't got over the hump yet. So at least since how Chris Bracone and Anthony say the modern era, the modern Spades era.
Yeah, you just can't take Gabriel Moreno that early. I argue the point that Bronco and Gabriel, but because Bronco was in last year, took a step backwards. I'm not blaming Gabriel. They could discuss that. Wright has bust written all over him, right? There's so many drops on this team. Grisham, Jorge Lopez, Josh Donaldson, Bryce Johnson, maybe Giovanni Gallegos. He might get lucky because Halsey kind of didn't do well. Curtis Mead. Polanco, this knee injury, I want no part of him. Singer might be overrated. Esteri Ruiz, a lot of people want, but let's not face the fact that he's on Oakland, okay?
Big ball.
Listen, to close out this team, Sal,
this
is a very bad team.
Really?
This is a bad team. Bronco, Gabriel, this is a bad team. You can't walk out of a 15-team deep league like this, intense players, and think you have a good. This is a bad team. Paper, computer, Gabriel, his cousin, it doesn't matter. Okay, it does not matter. It's about the prep. It's about the stamina. It's about, whether you can go deep, whether you're going to make the effort. Okay, this team is probably going to challenge for last place. 500 to 1.
Wow.
Absolutely no shot. I think Bronco did better last year than this year. I'm not blaming Gabriel. I'm blaming Bronco.
Amazing.
But this is not a good team at all. I don't know how you feel about that. Anyway, let's talk about and my brother disagrees, Joe saying Benny. Let's talk about the underdogs, the 3-pick. Anthony Madroni, Gus Bovin.
Another mess at the draft with the unprofessionalism. We say no names all the time, and all he does is he dropped a couple names.
I mean, how many times I had to go over there and talk to him.
And even after that, it happened again.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. Because you know why? It's great to have the young guys, right? Because we live in a society now where we're like so woke and this and that, and we're all about the young, the young, the young, the young. Let's listen to the young. Okay, but then you do a draft and you realize the young don't know anything. Okay, I went over and talked to him. I said, "You're giving too many hints, but you're hurting yourself. You have to understand something. Why would you hint? You're hurt." And he slipped up. And I like the fact that he's involved.
Well, they bring energy.
They do.
Let's
They're
be clear
great
about that.
He's great.
Yeah.
He was all over the waitress though.
He's met her before, and
it's hard to be in a room with Anthony Mandrone because he's the youngest. He's a good-looking guy.
Girl,
yeah.
So
we're all old people.
I think they might have exchanged numbers before the draft. To be honest.
And then you have Paulie Scavello, who's an older person,
and he's still after the young.
Well, he's married. I think he's married, but
that's my guess. He comes in with a tight shirt, so I'm just assuming.
If there's a good-looking woman in the room and Anthony Madrone's in the room, most of us don't get any attention paid to us. So it might have disrupted his focus a little bit. And then his partner's got to bring him back. Like Gus is like, he's the voice of reason. I got to bring you back.
Yep.
Right? So, and that's why he said it's always good to have that young blood in the room. I feel for Gus because he's always got to be like, you made a mistake. He's almost like got to reprimand him.
He's the mind of reason.
I mean, he looks like a nerd, right? It goes to show that when a cat or a dog has puppies, or let's go to Africa, let's go to the plains when like a lion or a cheetah has these puppies, and they gotta wait before they release them into the world. Anthony and Gus aren't ready to be released into the world, right? Yes or no?
That's amazing. You know what? That's a great
in the draft world,
that's
they should have had a 10 p.m. curfew and not like anything after that.
Amazing.
They stacked themselves in a nice spot. They put themselves, you know why? Because 24 home run didn't want they weren't like offering that spot up, that corner spot.
I thought 24 home run should have sat where Anthony and Gus sat when they first got there.
Do you think sitting near a Hall of Famers like 24 home run rubs off on them?
If it doesn't, then you're playing the wrong game.
And all their computers?
And just hopefully you can hear a voice or two and a name or two, and you never know. But it doesn't hurt, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. My advice to be before we get to the team is Anthony needs to focus. I use a lot of horse racing terms. Sometimes they cut the balls off of horses. They call it gelding. Because a gelding, he can't focus. A horse can't focus because all he wants to do is have sex with other horses. And, you may have to geld Anthony Madroni so that he can focus. I don't want to geld him. He's a human being. Okay? But Gus brings them down.
Not literal.
They're not ready. They're a little too young.
Figuratively.
But it's good that they're young. They'll learn. And they will enjoy themselves.
I see big things in this league in the future for them.
I do.
Right.
But I do not see big things with his father and his crooked shirt.
His father has
come on, Anthony.
Business.
Look at this shirt,
They
Anthony.
do a good job.
Look, Anthony, look at this shirt.
99.8% of the time.
Show your dad. Look. Look at this. Look at that.
Artie, we love you.
We love you, but we $20 a shirt.
$20 a shirt.
$20 a shirt. I spent $750 on shirts. Because I love everybody. But that's a great photo. Look how good you look.
Nice
you were playing craps?
We were playing. It was a celebrity fundraiser.
All right, let's talk about this team. We're going to go 1 through 9. They had the third pick. Trey Turner, Sandy Alcantara, Luis Robert. He better step it up. Alex Manoah, right? The fences are in. Tim Anderson. I think Tim Anderson's a little overrated. This will be the last year that people are on him.
I like Tim Anderson. The only issue is if he stays healthy. If he stays healthy, he's great. If he doesn't get hurt, he's great. But if he gets hurt, then that's the risk you take with him. So that's a risk.
And Jose Abreu in Houston, he's old too. Logan Webb. I was on Logan Webb. Okay. Wilson Contreras. He already got hit in the knee. He should be fine. Alexis Diaz. So 1 through 9, I'm like, this is excellent balance here. You know what I mean? Strong pitching. I just think that the Tim Anderson pick is a little overrated. I would never win Anderson. And Luis Robert, better show up. This is
the year that he has to put it all together.
He has to put it all together. And this White Sox team is legit.
When it came back to him, did you not know he was getting Robert at the time?
No, because he's loyal to him.
And he picked him last.
Is this the second or third year in a row?
Yeah.
And it's okay because some people say if you pick a guy the year before and you're disappointed, go back to him.
Correct.
And some people get away from the disappointments. It's a tough decision to make,
it is.
But he's a good player. I would have stood with him. Alex Bohm, everybody wanted Bohm. Who didn't want Alec Bohm? Patrick Sandoval, 11th pick, a little early.
He wanted to add to that pitching that he has, and with the 11th pick, maybe around the too early, but not horrible.
I think he went before Reed Detmers.
Looking at you can't pick Sandoval before Detmers.
I'd have to look. I took Detmers. So I took Detmers in I have to look. I have to refer to this.
I have it here.
I took Detmers in the 11th round.
So it's right around there.
I might have took Detmers, then he took Sandoval because it's an odd number round going back up.
Got it.
Anyway, Sandoval too early. Lars Nootbaar. Why is everybody on Lars Nootbaar? Why? Everybody
watched the WBC and they fucking.
I know.
They don't realize that you're also facing.
Were last year's numbers enough? Were last year's numbers enough?
I'm not on Nootbaar this year.
DJ LeMahieu, Cody Bellinger with the Cubs.
I'm not a LeMahieu guy either. I don't think he's going to get enough playing time. You need at bats. You need at bats in this league. I like his multi-position availability.
I actually think he's going to play.
Yeah.
I actually think he's going to play. I really do.
We'll see. I think he gets traded.
No, he does not get traded.
I think he or Glaber get traded, but that's the Yankees.
You don't trade players when you're a playoff team. Because the Yankees are all about getting rid of Torres. So we know after this year, Torres will not be a Yankee. You're already giving Volpe the job. We know Peraza's going to get the job. And,
you trade if you're a playoff team.
No, you don't trade top players away.
I don't know if he's a top player.
You don't trade top players away.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't put it in the category.
You trade
of top
prospects when you're.
players. Yeah, but I
you
wouldn't
don't trade
put them
that.
in the categories.
Nah,
Especially when they're loaded.
LeMahieu and Torres will be a Yankee all year. The Yankees are going to be a team where they will trade from their prospects. Anyway, Seth Brown in the 15th round. Why?
I mean, they probably like his power. I don't like Brown this year either, but they probably think that he's going to have a productive year as far as power goes, home runs. And this league is about, you need power.
You're not worried about that bad Oakland A's lineup?
To me, it's always a little overrated.
It's not overrated, Sal.
They're
going through a lot of things. Are they staying in Oakland? Are they moving out of Oakland? They don't get no fans.
So many times that that's one of the most overrated stats is the team that you play on, especially for relievers, and then the people that are around you, like in your lineup. It's like sometimes if you're just that good, you're that good.
I disagree. I want to know about Seth Brown. I don't like his batting average. Cal Contral, Jose Urquidy, Brian De La Cruz. Now, listen. I was on Contral a little too early. Okay? Jose Urquidy, fine. No problem. A little too early. 19 through 26. The middle rounds, 10 to 18, I thought Sandoval was too early. Nootbaar's a bust. Bellinger, Brown, De La Cruz concerned me. Okay,
what is De La Cruz even going to add to your to your team?
But why was everybody on De La Cruz?
I don't know. What's he going to finish 10 with 30 and 30?
It's not like he's a prospect. He's been a prospect for a while.
What is he going to finish 12 with?
And the Marlins, big ballpark, bad lineup. 19 to 26. Eric Lauer, 19th. I thought was a great.
I like
pick.
Lauer.
Yeah, that was a good pick.
I think the strength of their team is their pitching. If you really look at it,
Kenta Maeda, David Peterson, 21st round. I mean, sneaky pick.
Kenta Maeda?
No, David Peterson.
Oh, David Peterson. Well, that's a good pick because, and then it even got better. But I liked Peterson, and now with the Verlander injury, it just made it even better for him.
Peterson might have a little bit of a ratio issue, but he strikes people out. Manuel Margot, Brandon Belt, Adam Ottavino, Eduardo Escobar, Brandon Fat as their minor. I like Fat.
Fat's good. Big strikeout guy.
Other than Lauer and Peterson, you don't want to close a draft out like this. Okay?
Yep.
So this season may help them mature.
Well, I hope it does, especially after draft day.
Because they went for so much pitching early on, their offense suffered.
They did.
Okay.
The strength of their team is the pitching.
They never bothered to pair up Alex Diaz with another closer.
Well, that's what happens. If you get a closer that
and
you
he's
really
being in security.
Yep. When you get a closer that you like, you have to pair him up.
Maybe. We don't know. This year was a little confusing with the closers because of Duran and Munoz. And the injuries to Diaz and Iglesias.
Yep.
This year was a tough closer thing. So I don't have a problem to say that some people didn't pair up their closer. Their starting pitchers are super strong. Sandoval a little too early. So many other if they could have so many other people that could have took there, okay? They probably could have paired up Diaz with that.
At least somebody, like a medium, somebody that would get most of the saves in a team.
Abreu's getting older. He's in Houston.
I mean,
you're gonna
15
and 75 last year. You're gonna dismiss it last year?
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna dismiss it. But a great lineup. Hitter's ballpark. Let's see what the old guy has. They needed the 1B. Let's see what happens.
Bellinger, Nootbaar, Seth Brown in that lineup.
I mean, I don't like their offense. Their pitching is stacked. Their offense lacked.
And what if Robinson and Anderson get hurt again?
Yep.
That's
fair.
The history of their offense screams issues. And if they repeat themselves, it will fall apart quickly. I would like to see more speed besides Turner and Robert. But Turner and Robert is not bad. Anderson runs a little. People think Anderson's like a 30 guy. No, he's like 10 to 15. He's not that special. I think they need to learn the value of a draft pick. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's why I said some of these guys they picked. Sandoval, you can't pick him in the 11th round.
Maybe they're learning that.
The roster looks like the beginning of Anthony and Gus are maturing. Okay. They had a couple of missteps. If the offense holds up, and I doubt it, okay, because of their pitching, this could be a decent team. The team will hold an interest. Like part of it is, will you be involved in your interest the whole year? Don't forget, last year Anthony was at the bachelor party. He wasn't even there. He left Gus alone, but he zoomed in.
Yeah, we got to see his toes last year.
Yeah, we got to see his toes. This is a middle of the road team. I don't trust the management. They need to mature a little bit. 150-1. You know,
that's better odds than I thought you would have gave them, and I'm sure you're thinking
they got a good pitching staff.
Yeah.
150-1. You know. But would you rather see Gus or would you rather see Anthony?
Oh, I gotta see them both. I mean, look, I love Anthony, so he's always gonna have he's like family to me. So don't ever cross that line. But
I like Gus.
I like them both. I like them both as a
smart.
team.
He's got the glasses.
I like them both as a team. I like Gus.
When they go out,
and he's funny. Have you ever seen Gus's stand-up?
Gus is hysterical.
He's great. He does stand-up. Like
does he do stand-up?
He did it at the Barrio once.
So wait, so
like
are you saying that because Anthony gets all the girls?
Yeah.
So when they go out, Gus is the people that are attracted to most. They're more attracted to Gus.
Well, they like the personality and they like the jokes. People.
I like Gus better than Anthony.
Women love the sense of humor, but it's still Anthony. Anthony got a
no, it's not. I don't care what kind of place he has. I like Gus a little better than Anthony.
All right.
Okay. Anyway, let's go to Big Macs. Team number 4, Christian McGurk and Redonia Perry, and they sat in the corner. They got that table that nobody wanted.
That's the spot I would have took. The reason why I didn't take that spot and took where we were was because I know for a fact that we were closed and we had a sign, but people come up to the window. And if anybody that knows me at the restaurant,
they're worried about the parking.
They look at me though, and then I'm right there in the window. How do I not entertain them or say hi? So I said, let me stay as far away from the door as possible, and still with my back against the wall. Walter and I had our back against the wall, and we viewed everything. But I love the spot that the Big Macs picked.
I thought 24 home run would take that spot.
I would have put money on it. I even told them after they went on the other side, I thought that was their spot because they usually like to be around no one and in the back of the room. So, but Big Macs had
everybody seemed to avoid that corner. I thought they made a smart choice. They got lost back there a little bit because I think a little bit to the left they couldn't see. They couldn't see 24 home run. I don't think they could see underdogs.
I don't think you have to see them.
No, you don't have to, but you kind of want to be able to see the whole room.
Yeah.
They might not have been able to see Leo and Jared.
Okay.
But Christian had some personality. Remember when he took off his shirt, he put your shirt on?
Oh, that was great. Love him.
Yeah.
Love him. Thank you.
And he made a lot of Joe Bean comments. Thank God Joe Bean's here. So, stuff like that, which is great. And after all that, I feel like they are the team with the most to prove. Are the Big Macs the team with the most to prove?
They always come out of the draft with a good team. They compete all the time. I don't think they've gotten over the hump, and they would probably tell you they didn't get over the hump yet.
Yeah.
So they do have tons to prove.
Because they have a little bit of an internal rivalry with Leo and Jared because we got them in the league at the same time.
Is this right? I didn't know that. That's great.
Well,
that's great info.
It's my opinion.
I love that info. That's dynamite.
Because you remember when I used to be like, you're not the class. Leo and Jared have class. You don't have class.
Got it.
I think that hurt them personally. But that's just my opinion. From a reliable source, he tells me that Ron has all the power. Ron has all the power to make trades because what are some of the complaints when you talk to Christian and Ron, Big Macs, about dealing? What are some of the trade issues with them?
Well,
I don't believe this, by the way.
I mean, I don't believe it either, but I have, only because you mentioned it.
A reliable source tells me.
I don't know who the source is.
Redonia Perry has full control.
But
final say.
I know for a fact Chris and I had a deal done, and then he came back And he said, my brother doesn't want to do it. I said, all right, but which is,
My brother, they're not
I'm
brothers.
not brother, but I always look at them as brothers because that's the way we
Brother,
I feel.
or like brother.
Brother. Like Walter and I, we're brothers, but we're not brothers.
Okay, brother.
But I have a partner, so I can understand that. Look, if my partner's not 100% in with it, I don't want to do it either. So I'm not going to discount what who goes on. But if you're saying that you have a reliable source that knows for a fact, that's different information.
But why would Christian be like? Why would he say it? So he might say Ron has final say, but they might have had a conversation a half an hour before where Christian says to Ron, leads Ron into a direction, right?
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Very could well be.
Anyway, I don't believe it. I just think these guys are impossible to deal with. Let's look at their team. Jose Ramirez, of course. Michael Harris, number 2 pick.
That was a big jump for him. I thought that was too early.
Bust?
I don't want to call him a complete bust, but you know what? At the second round, bust.
Corey Seager, they wanted his power. Dylan Cease was amazing last night. Zach Wheeler, Logan Gilbert. Cease, Wheeler, Gilbert. This is the point where I was like, I could get these guys. All of a sudden, a team like that goes Cease, Wheeler, Gilbert.
Incredible.
Right? Andres Munoz.
Yep.
He closed. He got the save last night. Luis Severino already hurt.
Well,
I was on Severino.
Everybody, the magazines love Severino this year. I don't like. I'll never like him. I don't
keeps
know
hurting
why.
that lat injury.
And I could be wrong, but it's always something with Luis.
And he was sitting there. But then the news came during the draft that he got hurt.
Yep.
Like coming into the draft at 6:00 in the morning, there's no information there yet.
Right.
Dustin May, are you concerned about Dustin May's innings?
Even if he doesn't go the amount of innings that you would like out of a starter, when you still have guys like Cease, Gilbert in the second year, Wheeler, you don't have to worry about that much because he's not your top 3 or 4 starter. He's your 4th or 5th starter.
Can you go 6 pitches in your first 9 rounds in a deep 15-team fantasy draft?
I never do. That'll never be my strategy ever.
Yeah, you just can't do it. You sacrifice so much offense.
Yep.
And then we go 10 to 18. Anthony Rizzo, Tyler Stevenson. I wanted Stevenson, but I took Rushman. Tyro Estrada, Ryan McCann, Brandon Nemo, Edward Cabrera. I like Cabrera. Evan Phillips. I think people thought Phillips would become the closer, but they're playing games over there in LA. TJ Friedel in the 17th round.
That's a wasted pick.
Would he have even gotten drafted? Bryson Stott I like a little bit because of the Hoskins injury.
I love Stott before the Hoskins injury.
When you go 6 pitches in your first 9 rounds, you cost your offense so much that you will make these mistakes in your 10 to 18th middle rounds. You can't be taken and reaching for the Friedels and the Stotts. People like Stott. Stott could be a sneaky pick.
I think Stott's going to have a really, really good year. I was high on him. I wish I got him, but we didn't. I can't explain the Friedel pick, but when you do go, like you're saying, 6 pitchers in the first 9, you're sacrificing something, and that something is a big part of the game, and that's offense.
What about Nemo coming off that contract year?
I think he'll still finish where we finished last year.
A little less.
You don't think as much?
Nah, the Mets right off the bat, the Mets are just getting bad news after bad news after bad news. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Mets don't make the playoffs. Evan Phillips, could he become the closer?
I think he has a shot. But they always take
Anthony Rizzo with the 10th.
I don't like his average, and I mean,
well, no shift.
But yeah, they're gonna find a way. Trust me, they always do. But this team, for as long as I can remember, they always go for the secondary and the possible closers.
They go for pitching.
And
then when you call them up to be like, you have pitching, I have offense, let's make a trade, they do not trade.
Mm-hmm.
19 to 26, Jace Peterson. I mean, why would you want an Oakland A? Nate Eaton, AJ Puck, Harrison Bader, already on the DL, Ben Joyce as your minor leaguer, Howard Ramirez, Jason Adam, Jack Suwinski. So let me repeat this. 21 to 26. Peterson and Ian went 19 and 20. Okay? But 21 through 26, Puck, Bader, Joyce, Ramirez, Adam, Sawinski. This is a disgrace.
It doesn't. Looking at the team, it doesn't look that horrible, but listening to that, it seems a little bad. Don't sleep on Puck.
I'm not going to sleep on Puck, but
don't sleep on Puck.
So you're gonna sit there and evaluate the Marlins closer situation, right? Where it might be this guy 1 week, 4 months later, this guy, and the Marlins, how many games are going to win? So you're going to worry about a situation you can't figure out on a team that they're not going to get that many save opportunities. So you don't take Puck, right?
I don't know. I like Puck.
Schumacher is the manager.
Not too far into the season, Puck's going to be their closer. That's my.
I don't know. I have a hard time when lefties become closers. I just think that you can't do that. But why do you do that? Because you take so many pitches early. I can't crush the infield, even though I'm skeptical about a part or two.
Sure.
Okay. I can't crush the pitching either, but that's because they wasted. They took 6 out of 9, right, in the first rounds. But now you have Severino added into the equation. Okay. And we're talking about a guy that always has a lat, like a pitcher. Tommy John isn't, other than Tommy John making you miss a year, it's not as bad as an injury than the lat and the shoulder. Severino hurts his lat all the time.
Every year.
It's recurring. So it takes away from that. Their outfield utility on his team is a joke. Nimmo, Peterson, Friedel, Harris. I mean, come on. Harold Ramirez and Nate Eaton? That's a joke right there. Okay? What is the definition of insanity? When you keep doing things over and over again, right? What do they do over and over again? Pitching. I'm not trading. Who did they have last year? Bueller. Wouldn't move him. Trevor Bauer, who didn't pitch. Remember that? And you can't talk. So when he says Ron has, because he wanted it to be, clear and clear. Ron Perry has all the power. So he's putting the pressure on Ron. That's not right. Okay? I don't believe it. What do you do to keep making the same things, right? Is it both of them?
It has to be.
Because when you look at the draft, Ron is always the one on the computer. And Christian's just like, he does this. He shows off his muscles, stuff like that. Munoz, Phillips, Adam, Puck, I don't know. Their peripherals are good, but you better hope Munoz, and he did get the save already, pans out. The outfield will be too much to carry. Their mentality has to change. You can't go 6 pitches in the first 9. Let's face the facts.
Okay.
Not when you need offense, okay? And expect a balanced team. Okay? They will be overconfident, right? Arrogant and obnoxious when they call you up. Long phone calls, okay? Impossible to negotiate. This is not a good team. This is 250 to 1, right? And I just think that you can't overcome taking 6 pitches in the first 9 rounds.
It's tough. We'll find out what's going to happen.
Yeah. Bad team. Just stay in Florida. That's all I'd have to say to him. You know what I mean? He's got a couple of houses, Christian, in Florida. Anyway, let's talk about Tony Tigers, Anthony Palumbo. And Tony arrived a little later than usual.
He arrived a little late.
He was so excited.
He wasn't answering phones, so it was a little nerve-wracking. But then we got word that he was on the way, which was great. So we knew he would be there on time. Look, you don't got to come early to these drafts. You just got to, if you get there on time, you're on time. There's no issue with that.
No, but you want to get comfortable. Plus,
that's me. But he got comfortable. He was at a table with another City Island representative, so it worked out.
I don't think he slept well.
It's tough to sleep the night before a draft for anybody, so I'm okay with that. But he said specifically that he was up super late for other reasons. I think if you're up because you have anxiety for the draft, that's not a bad lack of sleep because you're thinking about draft. I think he was up for other reasons, which could be a little detriment and take you off of your A game draft day.
How many papers did he have?
Oh man!
I mean, can you draft with that many
Do you
papers?
remember?
How do you organize that
Do you
shit?
remember the yellow books that used to come to the houses? He had like 3 yellow books worth of papers. It was amazing. I can use those for like high chairs at the restaurant.
Yeah, and then what happens is you have all these papers, and then the draft doesn't go your way, and you get sniped and get sniped and get sniped, and then you're fumbling everything.
And your papers start flying.
You know, and does Paulie and do you think Paulie and Tony communicate? Because they sat at the same table.
I don't think so.
Sit down.
I think they communicate tons before the draft. I think draft day, maybe not, unless they're asking the question: is this guy available? I don't think they're talking about players.
I thought Tony looked flustered.
All right. It was hard for me to see him. You seen him better. I had his back was facing me, and I had the side view.
Mm-hmm. Should he be happy with the 5th pick and Julio Rodriguez there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, because some people were saying Julio Rodriguez number 1.
I wasn't picking him 1.
Do you pick him over Judge?
Probably
over Turner.
Super
It's tough.
Close.
It's a top 5 or just mix and match.
Top 5, you know. I thought that once it got to 5, I thought there was a slight chance that he would get to us. So we were, and then of course he dropped the bomb, so it worked out. But you can't argue. But again, I don't think anybody's first round pick is really truly bad.
I think Tony worked the night before, okay, and was excited, and he closes late, and then goes home thinking that he's going to get a little bit of rest, and he doesn't know whether he should stay awake or not. But then I think he falls asleep accidentally.
Okay.
Well, you should fall asleep.
You have to get some
because he came. I thought
Even
it would be more eager. I felt like he came to the draft like something disrupted his like drive there, his wake up time.
Right.
Like he might have woke up late. Anyway, besides that, Julio Rodriguez got to be happy with number 5.
Yep.
Spencer Strider. He loves Strider. He had him last year.
Good.
He won him last year.
I think Strider's going to improve.
Okay. Max Scherzer. So 2 out of your first 3 are pitchers.
Okay.
Okay.
Which
Devin Williams, 3 out of your first 4 are pitchers.
That's now you're getting into the sneaky, scary land.
Xander Bogaerts. I mean, 5th pick.
Do you not like Xander?
When you look deep down in Xander's numbers, they're not that special. He got the bad wrist, and he's going from Boston to San Diego.
But if you like them, at
too early,
especially at shortstop, he's not getting back.
But then he goes Dansby Swanson off the contract year.
Well, that's the pick that I would Swanson. It's arguable could go before Bogarts.
Yeah,
but he got them both, so it worked out for him.
And I gave him a little zing when he picked Xander Bogaerts. I was like, Bogaerts with the wrist, like Tony didn't know it.
Right.
Brian Reynolds, Max Muncy, Gleyber Torres. Brian Reynolds. How do you feel about it?
I like Reynolds. He doesn't wow me. I think he goes under the radar a lot. Bad team, but again, I always think that's overrated. So I'm not. I don't feel horrible about Reynolds there. I think Reynolds is going to bring enough power to make it worth that pick.
I did not like Reynolds coming into the draft, and then again when I talked about Pena, and I go back again. I redo my prep. I was like, you know what? He actually is better than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't like is the fact that when someone gets traded, so you're playing in Pittsburgh. What if you get traded to Seattle, right? What if you get traded to LA and you got to get a new apartment? You got kids, you got wives, okay? So granted, Pittsburgh's not a hitter's ballpark. It's like medium. You don't have a great lineup. You're going to get traded. If you don't get traded next door, like to New York or Philadelphia or someone close, you got to make such a drastic change. Like you might have to LA and get your own apartment and leave your wife and kids behind. That could affect you.
It happens, but sometimes look, I've seen trades before where people go coast to coast and they become the MVP of the team. So
Max Muncy, why do people like him?
I hate him. I never liked him. I hate his average. There's nothing. He has pop. If he plays every day, he'll give you a pop, but he's going to destroy another one of your categories.
Gleyber Torres, last year with the Yankees?
Probably, definitely. I like I said, he has a chance of going this year.
So he goes 10 to 18. Christian Walker, right?
Yep.
Some people worry about him. Alejandro Kirk, a little early. He wanted the catcher. Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty could be the type of guy that wins you the league,
I like Flaherty. I liked him last year, obviously.
I know, but
But
he could be a game changer.
Yep.
Ezekiel Tovar. I had a crossroads where I could take India or Tovar. Tovar batting Colorado. People still feel about Colorado. How do you feel about Tovar?
I kind of like Tovar better than who did you just mention?
Jonathan India.
I like his upside better than India's upside.
I know. I'd rather have a guy that plays in a better ballpark and bats closer to the top of the lineup.
Well, Tovar plays in the best ballpark he could play.
Gabriel Rodriguez, he gets a blow right away. I mean, Gabriel Rodriguez being sent down is not,
But that's okay. If
it's not. No, that's a 14th round pick.
Yeah.
What if he doesn't come up?
He'll come up.
Okay. Justin Turner, little sneaky pick. Carlos Estevez, who's closing in LA?
There's multiple closers. So, like I said, that's a position where.
Last night they set it up for Estevez. Tepper,
but he's not gonna. He's not gonna
hold that position, right?
Nope.
Jared Schuster, Ellie De La Cruz. Ellie De La Cruz in the 18th round, minor leaguer.
There's a million minor leaguers that I could have got.
Yeah, but you don't take De La Cruz might not get drafted. Yeah. Dylan Carlson, Chris Taylor, Aaron Savali, Kevin Kiermaier, Alex Wood, Bryce Terang, Taj Bradley, Yusei Kikuchi.
Wow, that's a horrific.
18 through 26, beginning with Ellie De La Cruz. You cannot come into a draft and perform picks 18 to 26.
You know okay,
what?
That shows that he was tired. Came in, and at the end of the draft, he was getting sloppy.
It might have been the papers.
Well, how do you navigate through those papers? Because I didn't see that he had bookmarks or anything on the papers. So how do you navigate that? It's amazing.
He looked frustrated the whole draft.
Couldn't get his iPad to work. I had help him out with that, which I never mind. So that worked out.
He never settled in. He looked like he was in a bad mood
all day,
right? And I think what happened was is that he kept saying, and a lot of people come to us before the draft and say, "I'm ready, I'm prepared, I'm all this." And I felt like he thought he was prepared. Okay, he felt like he was prepared. Anybody say anything? He just got a contract, dummy. Who's that?
That's Chris, but nobody knows who he's talking about.
Yeah. We don't. Chris Donnie, you gotta explain a little bit. He felt like he came in prepared. He was a little overhyped, probably over-prepared too early. And I felt like this draft, he got his ass kicked because people were like ready. You know what I mean? Everybody's listening to the same thing. Strider Scherzer is top heavy, but what does he get from Flaherty?
That's a question mark. Flaherty can be an ace, and then he can be another injured risk. I took a big risk on him last year. It didn't work out with him, but I like Flaherty. He's on a great pitchers team. They know how to maneuver and manage their pitchers. So that's one. I'm not going to argue with that pick.
What if Scherzer's back acts up?
Leave Scherzer alone. These old guys, they know what they're doing.
Fine. Estevez paired with Devin Williams. That's his closers.
No, I like the Devin Williams. I think he's going to be a top closer. Yeah,
everybody likes him.
I would have paired him with somebody else.
Wood, Savale, Kikuchi, and Schuster.
Off of my team.
Wood, Savale, Kikuchi, and Schuster. Is that a headache?
Off of my team.
Okay. And I don't see much power in this lineup. Okay. Rodriguez has the only speed, right? Can you count Tovar? Like, what can you say about Tovar? Like, you can't, I
mean, big upside. Let's see what happens. He's going to play. He's going to get a lot of playing time early, specifically. And he's in a great ballpark to play in. So,
but do we get lost in that with the Colorado delusions?
It happens a lot. No, I mean, what about the year? What was it? Remember Charlie Blackmon's first year?
But that was a long time ago.
It was, but it happens.
Ellie De La Cruz, Taj Bradley, Gabriel Rodriguez. And then you have no depth, no support in your team. And Tony is the type of guy that hates reserves. He don't like guys on his reserves that are playing. Crazy, okay, but he needs them now.
Yep.
I thought Tony got beat up in the dressing room. I thought he got tossed around. I really do. I do. I felt like every time someone made a pick or whatever, and I gave it to him. Like I thought I Jedi mind fucked. You know what I mean? Because I sniped them a few times.
You know what?
Reed Detmers was a snipe
during the draft.
Yeah, fucked them up. He got dazed and confused, you know. He always talks about how prepared he is. He never has a plan. You know, Mike Tyson would say, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
And he got punched in the face. Tony got punched in the face when you got sniped all day. Not just from me, from everybody else.
Amazing.
He needs to become more aggressive. Okay. And he needs to prepare more. You know, he's lacking too many categories. There's no depth. Okay. He's going to be, you know, sucked into the waivers already. Like, you know, when you can't get out of the waivers, every week you feel like you got to make a move. You got to make a move.
Yep.
400 to 1.
Wow. That's the second worst odds so far.
This is a bad team. This is a bad team. You know, and I know he's upset. He's upset.
But there's one thing that I'll never be mad at.
He's upset. There's no doubt he's upset.
You know, and I take this, when Richie gives you a bad odds, don't put yourself in a dumpster about it, because sometimes that's actually a good thing.
No, he's upset.
I just want people to understand that. And I you know why I think he's upset? Because in the group chat, it took him like 2 or 3 days after the draft to even respond.
Yeah, remember
when
that?
Before the draft, he responded like every day. Like
we have a 5-person group chat: Bronco, Chris Donnie, Salvatore Cuculo, Richie Sayambeni, and Paul Scavello and Anthony Palumbo. It's 6 people, right?
Plus, it says 5 because it's 5 plus yourself.
Yeah, 6 people. And there's moments when we have a chat without Anthony Palumbo included in it, right? I'm done drinking, I think.
We want to thank Tito's for the sponsor. They paid a lot of money for us.
Wait, hold on a second. Let me put it down. Let me get, you got my club soda?
I do.
Yeah. Like a little half. I dropped the top.
It's okay.
Let me get the top.
They paid a lot of money for the space today, so it worked out. Thank you.
I need my my club soda's in there. I'll take the lime club soda, I guess.
That's what I gave you last time. You didn't even notice.
Did I not notice? Wow. Anyway, talking about Tony, okay. Sorry guys, we gotta take a little bit of a break. I probably shouldn't have any. Anyway, you know, 400 to 1, Sal, you got no shot.
All right.
That's all. He's not even watching anyway. Who cares about him? Let's talk about team number 6, the Bistro Smokers. We got to do a salute before we talk about it. Okay.
The defending champs and
Yep.
the
Hall of Famers defending champs. This is our video. We don't care. The number 16 Bistro Smokers, Salvatore Cuculo, Walter Palmer, defending champs, Hall of Famer inductees. What does it mean to become a Hall of Famer?
Like I said, it means a lot, especially in this league, the best fantasy league ever in all sports.
It's a tough league.
Walter, it's a tough league, and the draft gets tougher and tougher every year.
Yeah. Do you feel any pressure?
No, we don't feel pressure, and if that's not a bad thing, if you do feel pressure, makes diamonds.
And what about Walter's mentality? Like, how does he feel about being a Hall of Famer or being, the defending champs? Because he's kind of quiet.
He loves it. He loved to actually get into the Hall of Fame this year. He's just super excited about it. Just can't say he puts in a lot of work. So him and I, it's like we talk baseball. I know we have the restaurant coming up, but we talk baseball.
Yeah, Salvatore. Can I say, Salvatore Cuculo and Walter Palmer are about to open up a restaurant. We wish them the best of luck. They're great people, and we'll go visit them. They're in Yonkers, and you were able to take declare your table the night before.
Yes,
and it was a great table.
I love the table.
Yeah, you watched everybody. It's very important. You had a great view. Does that have any relevance, the table and the view?
I just like to have a bird's eye view on the whole room. I like we always like our back against the wall. We had everything that we needed was in arm's reach, close to the food table, which worked out because when we're hungry, we get up, boom, 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 and we still come back.
Great.
Glad you enjoyed it.
And what about having a draft at your place? Does that bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me, especially for lunchtime. If that works out well, we're out well before 5. That's all. That's really all that matters. Even though we actually, a bunch of us stayed after 5 and hanging out, which is cool.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Yeah,
thank you.
I love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, it's amazing what you did and what you do. Thanks for picking the draft order, by the way. You gave me the number 1 pick.
I gave you the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And were you happy with the 6th pick? Because leading up to the
didn't
draft,
want
you were targeting someone.
Yeah, I didn't want
and
a
the
top 3 or
injuries
4 pick.
there were injuries coming into the
Correct.
draft. They were
Correct.
important. It changed
Yep,
a lot of things.
yep.
So the 6th pick, you and Walter happy with it?
Very happy with the 6th pick.
Really?
Yep.
And you took Vladimir Guerrero.
We did.
Why? The
Power-
fences are in.
Power,
The Soto
power.
injuries.
I think he's
Would
gonna
you have taken
another big
Soto
year.
if he wasn't hurt?
We had a lot. To be honest, it wasn't going to be Soto there for either one of us.
So you were
First
trying
time in a long time. It was him. It was Guerrero. I'll give you some insight. It was Guerrero or Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso
And we
with
chose-
the 6th pick of the first round. You never would have taken him.
You know what? He's going to have a big year. But we went Guerrero. He's going to have a big year.
So
You watch.
that means you were targeting Guerrero.
Correct.
Okay. Nolan Arenado, JT Realmuto. Now Arenado because of third base.
Well, it's amazing because we were going to take, believe it or not, Machado could have been 6th. And I don't know how we fell all the way, but we were going to, it was Machado, Alonso, Guerrero. That was our 3 that we had circled. And we chose Guerrero. And then when we got the option to get Arenado,
Yeah, but you told me Soto leading up to the draft. A few conversations. Were you trying to give me the okie doke?
No, you know what? I can always tell you so. Because
Before you got the oblique.
how could you be mad with the Soto? He's going to have a big year, great year. And look at the place you got him in. Whoever got him, I think I forgot the exact spot that he went, but amazing.
4 through 9, Jordan Romano, Byron Buxton. I have issues with Byron
I know
Buxton.
you do.
Why do you keep? I mean, like Byron Buxton stinks.
This is
though.
the first year.
You wasted a 5th round pick
That's
on
not
Byron Buxton.
He's a 30
Show
home
me
run.
why he deserves to be a 5th round pick.
What did he do last year? And he was injured.
I could ask everybody in this room right now if they're on him. They would tell you the bad pick.
No, 5th round is not horrible for him. 2nd round is horrible for him. 3rd round is horrible for him. 5th round.
He does not deserve to be that high, even in the 5th round.
I guess we'll figure it out.
Why? He doesn't steal.
30 home runs.
Does he steal?
30 home runs.
Does he play?
30 home runs.
That was a bad pick. It was a bad pick. Robbie Ray, Felix Bautista, Blake Snell, Jeffrey Springs. Now I like this because I like Ray and Springs. Why you can't get away from Blake Snell? You and Walter can't get away.
He went later in the draft this year,
He's
and now he's not even no question about him being hurt, and he's going to have a decent year.
He's
and
barely
he
a 5-inning pitcher.
We'll see. He's a big strikeout guy. You know, at that point of the draft, there's not too many 200 strikeout guys left, so we went with Snell.
Are you looking into his K per 9 too much?
That's a big category to look at and use it. But how could you be disappointed with having 2 high-level closers? You know, if you, like I said earlier, we were talking, if you have one, you got to back them up with something. I didn't want
we don't know that yet.
Well, I didn't want to get stuck with a Romano without somebody, and Bautista's that guy.
Saves is a weird category, but so you're Bautista off the shoulder issues. You're assuming the Orioles are going to be just as good as last year.
I think they're going to be better than last year.
Yeah. Okay. Their over/under for wins was really low.
That's okay.
You know what I mean?
I think they're going to be better than last year.
Bet the Orioles over wins.
They're just in a tough division. That's the issue.
Well, the Red Sox are not that good.
No, but the Yankees are good. Toronto's good.
That don't matter. Number 10, Anthony Volpe, and you like to take the minor leaguers. When I talked Jordan Walker, did it put you on alert? Like, we better go for Volpe?
No, we wanted Walker. We weren't even on alert with anything. We were looking at kind of positions and people that we wanted, and we knew he had the job, so we wanted to leave with Volpe. We always like to have a young guy or 2, not too many of them, but he was one of them this year that we really were high on.
So when I take Walker, you're like, we better take Volpe.
It really didn't go through our brain, you taking Walker, that we have to take Volpe, but I'm sure he wasn't going to get back to us.
The New York news, you know,
right at the last he's a New Yorker, so we knew he wasn't coming back.
I mean, they were all over him. Like sometimes you don't want to have a draft 2 weeks before, but sometimes you really want to have a draft 2 weeks before, but you don't want to risk the injuries. And that's why you have the draft late.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So 11 through 18, Matasaka Yoshida. People like him. Milas Mikolas, a little too early. Joey Meneses, short sample size. Brandon Drury, he stinks. You know, Brandon Drury never did anything other than last year's contract year in the first half.
It's okay. And
in Cincinnati.
Yep.
JD Martinez. Big. Rebound? Big rebound.
Big power. Yeah. How could you be mad at him? DH. It's great. I'm happy with it.
Oh, he might get outfield. Noah
And
Syndergaard.
outfield.
1 year removed from Tommy John,
And
LA.
at that point of the draft, we kind of like him. He's going back to the National League, which doesn't matter anymore, but he's on a great team. The Anaheim team, they always, they have the best players in the world, but they can't win. They don't have the depth. But now the Dodgers are always a competitor. I just think they're going to get a lot of wins. I don't think his velocity is up, but we're not really worried about that. He's going to be fine.
Velocity could be overrated. These pitchers go under the pitch. Derek Hall, because of Reese Hoskins.
Of course.
Marcelo Zuna.
I like that. We were thinking, he could be power. We wanted to go with the biggest power at anytime we went offense, we're looking at power, and we need
power.
Speed, so
upside.
Power upside, of course.
19 through 26. John Birdie going back to the well again.
Well, you know what? We did it only because Walter and I were looking. We're a little low on speed, and he's a guy that, look, even if he gets 400 at bats, 350, 380 at bats, 400 at bats, 420, he's a guy that can come in the 8th, 9th inning, pinch run, get a stolen base, and leave. He's there strictly for one category.
I don't know. James Outman was a little sneaky pick.
I like James Outman. How did you know?
Nick Martinez, that was a waste.
He was on our bench, but he smacked a home run.
No, because I think people coming into the draft, people like the opportunity. You have to understand opportunity and upside. So I like the upside of a 20th round pick. Nick Martinez, forget about him. Vaughn Grissom was the guy. You got him in the 22nd round. But you remember prepping, and you're like, he's great. You had him really high. All of a sudden, they sent him down. It's a Braves roster issue. It has nothing to do with him. You might have a minor leaguer that comes up immediately.
He's a top minor league.
Randall Grichuk, why?
That late? I mean, big upside, power.
No
again,
upside.
Power. Why not?
No upside.
He's in a great ballpark. He's gonna be healthy. It's a stupid hernia. He'll be fine.
No, it's not the hernia. It's the
sports hernia. Yeah.
Mark Canner, Drew Jameson, Luis Rengifo. I don't know about that.
Luis Rengifo at super late in the draft, multi-position, and he's just holding the spot so Volpe qualifies as shortstop.
No, that I understand. Like that, you have to take that into account. Sometimes the position eligibility. I could crush Drewy. I could crush Birdie. I could crush Rengifo all day, but it all has to pertain to Volpe. Okay, qualifying, and if Grisham comes up.
Yep.
So as much as I hate Drewy, Birdie, and Rengifo, it's all about Volpe and Grisham. And I understand that because that's what smart drafters do. But I still can't get over Drew in the 14th round.
14th round. You act like that's the top 10.
Are you worried about Manessa's short sample size? Bad team, bad lineup?
He started off well last night, I think that's overrated, the bad lineup. He
probably should have got an opportunity way before he was 28. Yeah. But he went to Korea or whatever he went to.
So I'm hoping that he has a follow-up to a good year.
And Yoshida has to qualify, right? Because it makes your outfielder better than because you have a little bit of a weaker
outfield. Then I can
outfield.
take Kana out, or Grichuk in the meantime, somebody.
But Byron Buxton, I can't get over him.
That's okay.
You know what I mean? He just, 2 closes you have.
Yep.
I worry about Syndergaard, Martinez, Jameson. They concern me.
Well, I like the Ray, the Springs, the Syndergaard, the Nicholas, Nick Martinez on a great team, and he's a big strikeout guy. So I have a lot of hopes for him. And look, we could sit here post draft and talk about it, but we'll find out at the end of the season. And it's about moves, for every team.
Yeah, it's about moves.
It's about how you manage and handle your team. Trades, pickups, air drops.
So the infield, when it's properly filled out, okay, because again, some of these guys have to qualify. It looks super strong. I have concerns with the outfield, okay? I do have concerns with your batting average and your speed. Do you have concerns with your average and speed?
I think the speed with Birdie, look, and you don't have to win every category.
You think Birdie's going to do that again?
But if he gets 30, that's comfortable.
You don't think he's like a trade candidate?
And he could still get 30, no matter where he goes.
When he plays everywhere. He's like the perfect team for a veteran playoff team. Perfect player.
Yeah, and you know what? He'll get it at bats because he plays a lot of positions.
Your staff looks solid, but it lacks depth. Okay?
That's what my wife tells me.
And
all
it
the
could
time.
take a turn for the worse. Okay. Overall, it's a solid look to a roster. And I could put them into right outside. I put you right outside of contention. I like the team. I don't like the team. I like the team. I don't like the team. I need to see the finished product here with the infield. Okay. I do have concerns about their depth. You're 50-1.
That's
50-1.
That's better odds than I
Right
thought you were
outside.
gonna
You're probably more like a 6th, 5th place team.
We'll take that.
Okay.
Our goal, Walter and I's goal, is to win with every odds that he gives. So we've won with 1,000-1 odds. We've won with 250-1 odds. We've won with 750-1 odds. Now these are the best odds, 50-1. We're trying to win with 50-1 odds.
That's time. We have a couple of non-league members in our chat. Let's see. One is a jerk. Okay, let's see what that does.
James, I like
James
him.
Mooney. James Mooney says you guys.
He's got a little Josh Hader in him.
James Mooney, you guys might. He's Moonman in the football league.
I know he is.
Yeah.
Josh Hader.
You only thing that lacks depth is their hairline. But I have a hat on, so Meanwhile, and what lacks depth, his stomach doesn't lack depth. All right, guys, let's talk about the 7th team. A team has no name: Leo Tikel and Jared Tikel. Okay. They came in. It was great to see Jared. We love seeing Jared, okay? And we love seeing Leo. And Leo came a different mentality. You know what I mean? He didn't want to get into the controversial back and forth.
Yep.
Believe me, I've had private conversations with him. I like that. They got a really good table right near me. A lot of elbow room. Okay, I think it's important. But does this new mentality to stay away from the Dickie Bean vortex mean anything?
We'll see. You were still on them. They came in. So my opinion on them when they walked in, always very cheery. I don't know about all this yoga and meditation that Leo's doing because he seemed a little off, on edge to me.
Does he try to make Jared have the same mentality? Because Jared wants to get right in there. You know what I mean? He wants to have the confrontation somewhat. You know what I mean? And combat that.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Leo's don't get sucked in. Don't get sucked in.
The yin and yang.
I don't know if it's a yin and yang thing.
It's a father-son thing.
I don't even know if it's that. Jared loves. He called me the next day. We spoke a long time. So I love Jared. We love that. And then they whip out the Torah. We can't call it a Bible because they're Jewish. So he ripped out the Torah.
He did. And
every once in a while, he has to make a big pick. He's got this big Torah book. It's the Torah. That's cool. We don't call it the Bible.
It's the baseball Torah.
Were we offending them when we called it the Bible because they're not Catholic?
I don't think so. I think they got tough skin. So
he brought the Torah to the draft at Buzz's. But it's good to have that healthy back and forth. I thought the energy was great.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether Leo or Jared, whatever, I felt like they came into this draft with good, positive energy and vibes. And whether Jared was a little tough to rein in, Leo was the leader.
Okay.
And Leo was like, okay, Jared, I'll tell you what to do, kind of. Mookie Betts with the 7th pick. What do you think about that?
Mookie Betts with the
first round 7th pick. We had the news about Soto and about all this and all that.
In no world am I taking Betts ahead of Soto, but that's me.
I'm taking Soto to the oblique. You can't take the oblique.
He's going to be good.
Marcus Semien, Aaron Nola. You can't argue with that. Dalton Varsho. Everybody on Varsho because of the steals that he's going to qualify for catcher 1 year.
That's the reason why.
It's really more like he's not really a catcher.
That's why you pick him because you can put him in catcher all year. He's going to get 150 more bats than any catcher, so it'll work out. Ryan
Presley, Vinny Pasquantino. A little Pasquantino, the Royals, short sample size.
Pasquantino.
Are we giving him the mantle a little too early?
He's another guy that could just have a big year. My issue with the Presley pick was, where did he back him up with? And he's left. I know he got
But he took him off.
Bednar over here, who's probably going to get traded. We'll see.
You don't have to win saves.
Yeah.
And Bednar, I think if Bednar gets traded, he's a closer.
Probably.
It depends who he gets traded to. Gunnar Henderson, David Bednar, Kodai Sengar. Henderson, again, they go Pasquantino, Henderson, short sample sizes the next year. Does that concern you a little bit?
You know what I'll say is their short sample sizes I like a little bit better than, for instance, you had a couple short sample size people.
Yeah, I have a lot of them.
Yeah, and I think they did a better job at picking out the better potential and the higher risk guys than you.
Really? I did,
so.
yeah.
I think so.
But I didn't take Gunnar Henderson in the 7th round. I took Elahuris Montero in within the 20s.
That's fair.
Could I sing in that round? 9th round, a little early?
No. Right.
9th round, not early?
9th round, probably around the too early now that I'm thinking about it. He probably could have lasted. But again, if he liked him and he wanted him, he's not sure he's going to get him back in the wraparound. So,
all right, let's go 10 to 18. Stephen Kwan, right?
I like Kwan.
People like the average, the run scored, the stolen bases. Freddie Peralta, he concerns me. He's got bust written all over him. Seiya Suzuki, I loved him. The injury, he came back a little quick. I thought it was a great pick. Jordan Montgomery, Josh Naylor. I'd rather Josh Naylor than Josh Bell. C.J. Abrams, and everyday speed in Washington.
Yep.
Oscar Gonzalez, 16th round. Tell me a little bit about Oscar Gonzalez.
I mean,
were you on him?
He was.
I think he'd be 90, 25, 90.
He didn't mean much to me, but he's going to do well.
Yeah.
He got power. He has speed. He has decent average. That's a guy that he's a staple on a team when you have him.
Alex Cobb, I can't stand him. Elvis Andrus.
I don't like Andrews. People are high on him, this and that. He's going to play. I think it's past his time. I think it's over for Andrews.
Maybe they're worried about the White Sox a little too much. Jurickson Profar, 19th round.
That's a good pick right there.
Why? Because he's all of a sudden in Colorado?
Why not? But even in the 19th
he is what he is. He doesn't have good numbers.
But he had 15 to 20 home runs.
Colorado's not going to all of a sudden turn you into a 300 hitter.
But it adds 10% of home runs. 10,
no,
20%.
It does
yes,
not.
It does. It always does.
No, it does not.
Why does it hurt pitches then?
It hurts pitches, but not a guy like Tawan Walker, not a guy like Jurickson Profar, who's like, he is what he is.
He's a 15, 20 home run guy. He's going to hit 20.
When he's not 15, 20. He's a 200 hitter. Taijuan Walker went late 20th round. Why? You think because of the Pittsburgh factor off the contract? The Philadelphia factor off the contract here?
Probably, but he's a good pick. Great lineup, great team to be on for wins. He can make it happen.
Austin Meadows can't hit lefties. Zach Eflin in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, getting away from the shit. Ryan Pepiot right away. They got an injury.
Yeah.
Okay. Seth Lugo. I mean, come on. Christian Encarnacion Strand. He got hurt in the minors.
Right away.
Spencer Steer. He's lucky he got Steer. So now we look at this team. Okay.
Yep.
And it piques my interest. This team piques my interest a little bit. Very different from the usual results. Okay. Maybe
Are you saying this wasn't a boring draft?
Well, maybe because of it's the new Leo mentality that might have influenced Jared. It might have panned out. I do respect Leo in that positive energy and not to get caught up in the controversy. Great body language, the whole draft. They had great body language. They got comfortable. They sat at the right table. Great body language. It's a colorful team. They're usually boring. Very vibrant, looks dangerous. This team looks. You don't think the team looks dangerous?
They're dangerous.
You know what I mean? If I could knock anything about them, it's minimal. You want to question Pasquantino, Abrams, Naylor.
I don't want to question Pasquantino.
You want to question Abrams?
I won't. I don't want to question
Naylor.
Much of this lineup. I question Andrews.
Gunnar Henderson.
I'm not a big Andrews guy.
Gunnar Henderson.
Because
of the small sample sizes.
No, I like him. I like the upside on him, and that's he didn't take. They didn't take much of a risk getting him.
They look like they came into the draft with a plan to get outfielders and to make sure they covered relief. Not to win relief, though.
I wish they had a second guy behind Nola to be that guy.
They do lack a little bit of that. I can question their depth in pitching, okay? And I can question the support of Nola, okay?
Yep.
I do not like Cobb. I worry about Walker. Okay, especially in Philadelphia, the key is Kodai Senga. Kodai Senga is the key to this
He's going to
team.
be good.
Well, we don't know that yet.
Yeah, but these people when they come over like from Japan or Korea, and the hitters aren't used to their style, they generally do well.
If Kodai Senga was the number 3 behind Aaron Nola, not their number 2, right? Like you said it before, you wish there was another guy after Nola between Senga.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know what I mean?
That
would make a big difference.
100%.
So, but again, they concentrated on
also
offense.
Freddie Peralta could be that guy. Stop sleeping on Freddie Peralta. You just don't like him. I think he could be that guy.
I put him on the map, so you're asking the wrong person. So anyway, I think it's a very dangerous team. I really do.
You know what? This is where we're in agreement.
Okay. Are they a top contender? I'm not sure, but it's a very colorful team. Again, against most of their critiques in the past. Okay. Leo and Jared were focused. They were determined. Their energy translates directly into this team. Okay. Minus a couple. Again, it's more about the bridge between Nola and Senga. Okay. Other than that, I don't have much to say negative about it. This could be a top 3 finish team right here. Okay. 8-1 odds.
You gave them better odds than you gave yourself.
8-1. Yep. 8-1 odds. Top 3 finish. My only concern is the bridge between Nola and Senga. And they should be happy about this. This is one of the better teams. They definitely all the years past. Okay. This is something that I'd never seen. There's character.
So
there's energy. There's so much into this team.
Listening to what you're saying,
they should be happy with this.
They got over the boring team. Now they have a young and
they're no longer incapable. They're no longer boring.
Well, that was a question. So they're not boring. Are they going to be incapable during the year? So you're saying they got over that hump as well?
They got over a lot of humps. I enjoy this team. And it's funny because I saw them the next night at a couple nights later at the Buzz Draft. And they were asking me.
Okay.
Yeah, and I told them I can't tell you how I felt about your team. Yeah. But anyway, because I was the auctioneer and they were right there.
Should have been a dead giveaway because if they sucked, you would have told them right away.
No, I wouldn't tell anybody. I don't like telling people anything what I'm going to say in the video. All right, let's keep it moving, Sal. We got a lot of teams to talk about. We got the 8-team ultimate prize, James Yost, the pre-draft favorite, James Yost.
Which we knew that. He's always your favorite.
Okay, do you think James is tired of me making him the pre-draft favorite?
I would be.
Yeah.
Because it never hurts. I mean, it never helps.
But I'm not mocking him. I believe him.
No, you like him. I mean, there's always one guy every year, as long as they're in the league, that you love to do pull-ups on their penis. And he's one of them. He's the new guy.
Does it put pressure on him?
He's a Queens detective. He's a policeman. Well, how could he get more pressure than that? He's amazing.
Yeah. I always felt like James usually drafted well, but something unlucky would happen to him. Remember a few years ago, he took, Flaherty, and he had a great second half, but he could never, and he's really more from the Berman line. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Chris Berman and Robbie Berman would be in the league if we had an opening. They would always be able to welcome back. And I really appreciate that James is still in the league because they got him in the league, so that means a lot. He had to sit near Richie Stark. I don't think that matters. Okay. He sits there quiet, doesn't say much, and I get he minds it like and I give it to him. I gave it him a little bit during the draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he goes, Kyle Tucker again. He has the 8th pick. People like Tucker. Paul Goldschmidt, Jazz Chisholm, Justin Verlander, Eloy Jimenez, Yu Darvish, Carlos Correa, Carlos Rodon, Kelly Jansen. Jazz Chisholm.
I'm not a Chisholm guy.
3rd round pick.
I think that was a little early for him. I guess he liked him, and then he got unlucky with the Verlander injury.
Well, we haven't gotten that yet. But it's not. It's like the armpit strain, right? The muscle in the armpit or something.
They called it a shoulder, but it's definitely. I don't think it's a big deal.
I woo-hooed him.
But as a Met fan, when the Mets say it's not a big deal, that means I'll see him in July.
Does the woo-hoo bother someone like a James Yost?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he might not even see it. Eloy Jimenez, is he going to play?
Love him in this.
Everybody loves him. He kind of went late.
This could be the time that,
He has it. He wants to play the field, not play the
this is
field.
the upside with the guy.
You, Darvish, you have any concerns about his age and getting the contract?
I'm not worried about his age. What baseball has showed us recently is that these older guys just dominate.
Carlos Correa. I mean,
that's a guy. I don't care if it was, unless it's like the last 5 picks of the draft, I'm not touching him.
Carlos Rodon and that injury right away. He
right
had
away.
the same injury last year. People don't know about it.
Well, this is the thing where last year the Big Macs kept on trying to pawn Rodon off of me, and he had a great year. And I said, I'm just waiting for the arm to fall off or for something to go wrong, because it always goes wrong. And it just happened to be a couple months later, to start this season.
Kelly Jansen. When is he gonna? Is he ever gonna fall off the cliff? Like, he's starting to get up there in years. Not as great as the team, the Dodgers. I mean, the Red Sox.
He kind of got. He almost fell off last year.
Yep. But then he had a good year.
And then he regrouped. So
when you look at him, he has these good years.
I get your point with it.
10-18, and I love this pick. Joe Ryan in the 10th round. I mean, you didn't want Ryan.
I wanted Ryan.
Who didn't want
That
Joe
was
Ryan?
great at that point.
Scott Barlow. You concerned about Aroldis Chapman?
I told you, I'm not a Chapman guy. So, but I think they're gonna go by committee there anyway.
Any concerns where they find a better reliever and they make him be this fireman kind of job?
It could be. It depends how good they get, are this year.
If the Royals win one of these first couple of games during the first opening week, and the first save situation goes to Chapman, are you concerned?
The first month he always pitches pretty decent.
No, if Chapman gets the first save opportunity, are you concerned?
Yes.
Okay. Eugenio Suarez, Anthony Rendon, big bounce back for Rendon. People were on him. Tyler Mahle, I liked him. I like the Twins, but his shoulder issues a little bit. Ian Happ went a little late. You think he breaks out?
We've been waiting for a couple of years to see what happens.
Ramon Laureano won no part of him. Juicer, Oakland.
That's unfair to call him a juicer, but
he was a juicer. He got suspended for steroids.
Did he?
Yes, he
shoot.
did.
You know what?
Before in the past.
Yeah. All right. But that doesn't mean anything, because sometimes
they want no part of him. They give a big Merrill Kelly, Ha-Seong Kim. Tell me about Ha-Seong Kim's opportunity.
I like Ha-Seong Kim. He plays multiple positions. He's in a big lineup. He's at least going to start, until Tatis gets back. So maybe he can, and then he can play. He can be the ultimate utility guy.
19-26. Isaac Paredes, position multiplication.
I like him. Paradis.
Paredes. Isaac. One time I heard the Yankee Spanish announcer announce the game, and he said Isaac Paredes, the guy who does the Spanish broadcast. Mackenzie Gore, Clark Schmidt with the opportunity because of Severino and whoever else on that staff. Austin Hayes, Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh, you believe in that power?
No. Well, I just want to say something to James Mooney.
James Mooney.
If you watched it from the beginning, I said I would have wore a King of Spades shirt, which is the other Hall of Fame team. Yeah. But Walter and I, my partner, we made the Hall of Fame this year, and we were given these shirts.
Yeah.
And I always wear all of the shirts during the year. So this is the shirt.
No, but he must be talking about my shirt.
Oh, unless he's talking about his shirt.
Yeah. But
I made this.
Why did you gotta say asshole?
But I made this special for being a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was a surprise.
I thought it was like a Commissioner Clown shirt. It worked out well. So,
but James Mooney's got to call us assholes.
That's a little out of line.
I'll see.
Whatever.
Maybe I'll see him at work on Monday, but he tends not to. He tends not to come to work. Anyway, Brusdar Gratterall, Andy Rodriguez is a minor leaguer, Oswald Peraza. This is James Yost's team. Okay.
All right.
When you give a talent like James Yost the 7th or 8th pick in the middle of the draft in a deep league, you're asking for trouble. Okay? Right. You're asking for trouble. And he sat there right there in the middle of the draft. If there's pressure put on him, because I name him pre-draft, he likes it. He relishes it.
He said, just you.
There's so much noise that the room was noisy. Okay? Right. And I gave it to him. And he works overnight and comes to the draft. He doesn't sleep. So much commotion. And I don't think it affects him. He's cool, calm, and collective. Okay? You want to know what dangerous is? Verlander got hurt. But before Verlander, because I did my things before Verlander got hurt. Verlander, Darvish, Ryan, Rodon, Male. Okay? That's dangerous.
That's dangerous.
Okay? Now, what I have to say is before I did my evaluations, Verlander was healthy. Okay? But I'm not going to change my evaluation. Jansen, Barlow, possibly Gatterall is very sufficient. I don't think you have to win saves. You just need to be, you just not need to be a 0 in saves.
Correct.
Okay? Male, Kelly, Merrill Kelly, Clark Schmidt provide depth. Okay? What are you going to say about this team with the depth? Verlander's age?
I'm not concerned about his age, but I'm concerned about the injury.
Yeah, a little bit. They say it's armpit. Darvish off the contract here?
I'm not. I like
and his
Darvish.
age?
I'm not concerned.
Rodon already a red flag?
I'm always concerned about Rodon every year.
Ryan breakout. Joe Ryan breakout.
Well, if he's a breakout, then that's really good for him.
Now, you might be able to question Yost's batting average on this team. Ultimate Price's batting average.
Yep.
Okay. Eugenio Suarez, Ramon Laureano, Austin Hayes, Isaac Paredes.
Yep.
Those 4 have issues. Maybe even Cal Raleigh, right?
Yep.
But most of the offense is pretty stacked.
But you're also hoping for a Rendon to have a comeback year. That's not set in stone. But when you have a Kyle Tucker and then you have a Goldschmidt, like I said, I'm not happy. I don't like the Correa. I think his offense needs a little help.
Goldie, Paul Goldschmidt, Jazz Chisholm, Eloy Jimenez, Kyle Tucker, Ian Happ.
So there's a
rebound on Rendon. Hassan Kim full time.
There's a bunch of question marks there.
Kind of like it a little bit. You know what I mean?
You were just talking about Jimenez, and now you love him again.
Are you going to criticize Chisholm's history?
Chisholm,
that's fair.
Who gets hurt more than Chisholm?
That's fair. And Eloy gets hurt too. Okay? I'll give you that. But all signs point to this team being a really good team. Okay. I think it's all system goes as long as people stay healthy. And now again, hopefully Verlander's not a bad injury. Okay. This team looks like one of the clear leaders in the clubhouse. I really do. Leading claims here, I think. Again, Eloy, Chisholm, all that stuff. Okay. James Yost, Ultimate Price, is the 4-1 second choice.
I would have
4-1.
I'm so
pre-draft favorite, 4-1 second choice. The only thing I'm going to say is these guys, Chisholm and Eloy, better come through and they better play. If they do, it's second choice.
We took
Verlander again. I would knock him down a little bit based on the Verlander information, but I can't because I did this before the Verlander injury.
Yeah.
Okay?
Next.
You have any questions?
There was no doubt in my mind, Yost, before the draft, during the draft, after the draft, was going to be 1 or 2 favorite from your picks.
All right, let's go to number 9. Other guys, Tommy D'Amico, Joey D'Amico. Joey D'Amico was hungover. I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, Joey, you're quiet. And then Tommy goes, he's hungover. Like, what did he do? Get really drunk the night before? Because he's a young kid. And I miss those days when I got fucked up.
I tried to get you fucked up the night before.
But that means he can't help his dad.
Ooh.
Think about it, And they come in the draft hungry, D'Amico and Joey D'Amico.
They do.
Okay? And as far as Tommy goes, he's sucked into satellite radio, podcast, and everything else. But Sal, are other people doing the same thing?
As far as
the satellites, the podcasts, like is everybody getting the same information?
I would. It's about how you prep that changes your information, but everybody is getting the same information.
I think that's part of it because there's no like secrets. There might be 1 or 2 sleepers that someone might not have.
It's about how you value them. You have to make your own evaluations on the guys that you're hearing about.
Whether you get the information from whoever you get it to, you still have to be like, I don't believe it. Yeah, because then it would be easy to win if you believe it. They're there to make money and keep their job,
and they don't win every year either.
Yeah, and they live and die by the ADP. Okay. ADP, they all say the same thing. What I don't like about some of these people, these podcasters, these satellite guys, is that do they really care about our home league? Right? Because deep down inside, the last thing they talk about, the last thing these Scott Whites, these Frank Staples, these Chris Towers, these, Welshes and Pasapias and all these guys, Ronuses and fucking Mellon, the last thing they talk about is their home league. And no one's going to tell me there's anything more important than your home league. We're all about what we came from, our home league. Forget the NFBC. Forget all this bullshit. What's most important to you? Sal, what's most important to you?
Spades League.
Spades League. Is that your home league?
Home league.
That's your home league. Okay? So when they talk to you, they're telling you things they want to say, not want to say. But you don't think their home league members are watching their podcasts and the satellite listening to them? You think these guys want to give their guys in their home league information? Right? Would you?
What a crock of shit.
It's a crock of shit.
They want you to tune in and to listen. Now, I got to tell you, the sacrifice that I make for the league and for this video, it's a Friday night. I promised myself to be back at the restaurant by 8 o'clock because that's when the crunch time was. Back there. And there's no way that's happening.
We got about another 40 minutes to go. Tommy looked dazed and confused. I want to blame his son Joey. He didn't help out. Not to mention that his son was a little bit of a waste. What you should have known is that you're not coming into this draft thinking you know all the secrets. Okay, the Jeffrey Springs, the Corbin Carrolls, all this stuff that you're listening to. Okay, other people are doing it, and Tommy got his ass kicked. Okay,
wow,
yeah, I sniped him.
And you're always on
he would slap the table and this, that, the other thing. Okay, let's look at his draft a little bit. Juan Soto, do your oblique concern you at all?
No.
Okay.
Corbin wasn't going to steal much anyway this year.
The oblique is about hitting.
I know what it's about. He's fine.
Okay.
And the oblique does everything. It's part of your core.
He's
fine.
Corbin Burns, Randy Arozarena, Adelis Garcia. Adelis Garcia, third and fourth round. 5 toolers, not 5 toolers, 4 toolers. You lose a little batting average.
A little bit, but he's fine.
Ryan Helsley, you concerned about him? He already screwed up.
I don't like a lot. I mean, Helsley is one of the overrated closers coming into the year for me.
Yeah, he took him in the 5th round. Tristan McKenzie with his issue. And he was off my list, and now he's got an issue. Why would you take McKenzie? I want to know part of him.
I like McKenzie, not that high. Now he got the injury, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, he wasn't on my radar in the early rounds.
Ahmed Rosario, Jesus Luzardo, a little too early. He's pitching tonight. He's doing well.
Rosario and the Luzardo.
7th round, 8th round.
Yeah, that's a little high for both of them.
Yeah, a little high. MJ Melendez with the whole catcher outfield aspect.
Well, that's the thing. He's going to play every day. He's going to play outfield, and he qualifies at catcher. So that's where his value comes in.
Rowdy Tellez, why was everybody? Oh, I'm sorry, Cabrian Hayes, who stinks.
I'm not a fan of Cabrian Hayes. What does he give you?
He doesn't do
until
much.
He does it. I'm off of him again. I loved him when he was first coming up.
There's no power there.
Nothing.
Rowdy Tellez, everybody was on Rowdy. This is why I know he's listening to satellite and listening to podcasts. Why is everybody on Rowdy Tellez? And let alone wasting 11th round pick on him.
He's a power guy. He can make it happen. It's a big ballpark.
What happened? It's 200 batting average?
It's
not a big ballpark. They hit home runs there.
Nah, not enough. But the one thing that I would say is I'll never draft a 202 to 220 average guy. Very rarely, unless my hands are cuffed.
Jake Cronenworth, 12th round. He slipped a little bit.
That was a good pick.
John Gray, Brandon Donovan. Donovan might be the breakout guy. Multi-positional ability.
And I like Gray, second year in Texas. I think he's going to do big things.
I worry about Soto's oblique. I worry about McKenzie's arm. I want to know part of him. Cabrian Hayes, I think, is a waste. Are we anointing Luzardo and Melendez a little too early?
Not Melendez for where he got him and the eligibility. So no. Luzardo, I need him to show me.
Yeah. Well, my concerns about Luzardo is the offense, but he does pitch in a ballpark that's big and good for pitchers. And I didn't want to I like Luzardo in that tier of pitchers.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But I also, he also broke my heart a few years ago.
Of
You know what I mean?
course.
So
that's the injury.
he needs to get my trust back, and I worry about him. John Gray, we talked about Brandon Donovan. I like the fact he's leading off. The position I was really Kyle Gibson. Why in the 15th round?
He wasn't on my radar.
Oscar Colas. This is when Tommy got focused because I felt like the first half of the draft, Tommy got his ass kicked. The Walkers, the Volpes, some of these guys were getting called out, not the minor leaguers, like other players, the Springs and the Detmers, and the Carrolls. I could go on and on and on and on. And Tommy was like, whoa, these guys are all the guys I targeted are going. And then all of a sudden he's like, I better change my mentality. And right out of the break, after the 15th, 16th round, we take a break. He goes Oscar Colas, 16th round. Why? Because I felt like he got his ass kicked in the first half of the draft. Everybody he targeted, the satellite radio podcast guys, he goes Colas. Okay, were you on Colas? Because you like the young guys. Colas. Okay. Hayden Wisniewski, again, the same thing. No, so he goes Colas with all of a sudden, 16th, 17th round. Yeah, but then he goes Yandy Diaz in the 18th round. I mean, how do you go Yandy Diaz in the 18th round? 19th round, Paul Sewald.
But yeah, Sewald was a good pick.
In the 19th round, that's pretty big. He went kind of late.
He's going to get most of the saves, I believe, the save opportunity.
Nick Gordon. People are on him, especially with the Polanco injury. There we go. Michael,
multiple eligibility.
I like him as Michael Massey as a sleeper, second baseman for the Royals. What do you think?
I don't think he's going to have a big year. Not this year. I think
the Royals' offense worries about.
I think we're a year or two away from him.
Josiah Gray, bad team. Graham Ashcroft. Why are people on Ashcroft?
I haven't been on Ashcroft, and people love him. I think he's going to have he's off to the right. He's not on my team, is all I'm saying.
Ronaldo Lopez, does he close until Hendricks comes back?
He can be.
He got to say last night.
He could take that whole. I don't think they're going to go. I think they're going to lean towards him now. So we put Ronaldo Lopez on the map, but that was as a start. And now, when you're just giving him an inning or two, he can eat because he got all the tools to be a big bullpen guy. Robbie Grossman, Francisco Alvarez, 23 through 26. I can do without. I really don't care about them. I think John Gray a little bit early. I do like Donovan. Colas, Wisniewski, Sewald, Gordon, Massey. They're all about satellite radio people. All they needed was Sonny Gray to do
the Grays.
The Gray lineup from last year.
There might be nobody more determined to win this league than Joey D'Amico and Tommy D'Amico. Okay. Because I think that Tommy, because Tommy used to be one of those guys we used to worry about. He's going to show up to the draft. Does he really care about the league? But as you get older and you're going to have much to do, and this is kind of like your fun, you devote yourself much more to it. And I think that Tommy feels like he's got all the answers, okay? He listens to this and he listens to that. And then every year, the draft gets harder and harder and harder. And he realizes that you're not the only one with the information. You know what I mean? And then there's people that don't rely on information. They just do their own work and they come with the same end result. Okay? He puts his heart and soul into this. And when he walks out of the draft with a roster like this, it's a disappointment. It's depressing. I really do.
You think he was
I really feel like he was frustrated and got his ass kicked and beat up. He took punch after punch after punch during that draft. And I saw his emotions, let alone the fact that his son was hungover and could not help him. Okay? So who knows? Like maybe when his son comes and meets him, his son's like, Dad, I don't feel well. Tommy's like, out of all the days you do this, right? Think about it.
I'd be pissed as
right? And the icing on the cake, Tristan McKenzie. Not only do you have a bad draft, but then what happens right after the draft?
Boom.
Tristan McKenzie. You know what I mean? They did recover a little bit during the second half. They made some good picks. You know, they did Colas, they did Wadneski, they did Seawald, they did Massey, maybe Ronaldo Lopez, maybe Josiah Gray. I can't support Tellez, Cabrian Hayes, Gordon, Yandy Diaz. I can't support that. Okay?
Tellez might be the only guy, but I get it.
Burns is number 2 to Burns is Jesus Luzardo. You walk out of draft for Corbin Burns and the next guy is Luzardo?
Yeah.
Great times 2 and Ashcraft? No way.
Nope.
What if Soto's oblique acts up again?
Then he has a problem.
Right?
But I love Soto this
Can
year.
you be comfortable with the Soto pick, the 9th pick?
I love Soto this year.
But could you be comfortable if you're the 9th pick and you're going to say Juan Soto?
There's nobody else I'm taking with the 9th pick.
Oh, God, you're wrong about that. Okay? Other guys has to go back to the drawing board. They really do. Tommy and Joey have to. They rethink their process. They stumbled out of the gate. They didn't recognize the fact that they would have come into the draft. And they had a good pick. The 9th pick is a good spot to be in. And they got punched around and beat up a little bit. And they got off from the canvas and came back with the 10 count, the 8 count, and recovered. But they couldn't catch up. They played catch up the whole draft. They floundered in the middle, okay? And this is a bad team. I don't think they have a chance. This is 250 to 1.
250.
250 to 1.
You made their team sound worse than that.
Yeah, I just have a hard. They stumbled in the beginning, and it took them a while to recover. Tommy's going to be upset. I still think he's upset. And you know what's funny is because I asked him, when he's in the car with his son Joey, do they talk or do they listen to satellite fantasy baseball radio? And they listen to satellite. Rather than talk to his son, quality time, he'd rather listen to satellite fantasy baseball radio.
That's amazing. But that's quality time.
Well, I don't know if that is, but
it is.
But you can't come hungover to the draft.
No.
All right, let's talk about MVP. Paul Scavello.
One thing I noticed right away at the draft with Paulie,
yeah,
he came early.
He looks good.
I would have bet anything. He looks great.
He always wears those really nice looking.
He likes to wear tight shirts too.
Yeah.
He wants to.
Because he wears a suit all day. I mean, but he wore black one this time.
He looks good.
Yep. I was kind of concerned about Paulie initially because we had to change the venue. I was worried about him coming on time, but I was wrong about that. I misinterpreted that. I actually think it took some weight off his shoulders. Okay, but initially though he claimed his table. I was like, "Look, Paulie, that table is too big. You're gonna have to share it, most likely." Because I was as the teams dwindled down. Yeah. Yep. He was like, "Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing." I'm like, "I'm not gonna say nothing, but I'm gonna let you know right now. There's a good chance someone's gonna sit at that table."
And he got the right guy.
Yeah. So he gets busy at this time of year. So getting away from his location, I think, helped him relax a little bit. He claimed his table. He settled in. The days leading up, via text, our text, right? We talked about this boy. He was proclaiming to be the most prepared. You remember that?
He says that every year, though.
Yeah. You have to take those with a grain of salt. Yeah. You take those statements with. He receives the 10th pick, which he was probably happy with. Would you be happy with? Was he happy with the 10th pick?
I bet you he was happy with it. I would have been happy with the 10th pick. I think anything top 11, the 12, 13, 14, 15 is always tough. But I would have been happy with the 10th pick.
Yeah, and he allowed Tony to sit with him. It didn't bother him.
Well, City Island.
Yeah, I don't think he was. I don't think he interfered. So I thought Paulie had a lot of positives around him, as far as being there, being comfortable, wearing the right outfit, not at his location. He didn't care if Tony sat with him. I think he would have had a problem if other people sat with him. Then again, I don't know if they even talked that much during the draft. Yordan Alvarez, you concerned about his hands?
Look, I'm concerned always about his hands, his knees, his this. But even at 100 less at bats, he's still Yordan Alvarez.
Mike Trout. I think people wanted
pick.
Mike Trout. I think they feel like that power is too much to give up. Cedric Mullins, maybe he can't hit lefties. Josh Hader. He took the closer right away.
Yep.
The velocity concerns you? The dip in velocity with Hader? Rebound? Because he had bad numbers this year.
No, it doesn't bother me.
Wander Franco, is he a bust?
He's not a bust.
I think he's a bust. Zach Gallen, Nick Lodolo, Nate Lowe, Clayton Kershaw. Lodolo, people wanted him to get away from
I like that.
Gallen.
You got to like the big strikeout guys.
I like his top 9, but I worry about Wander Franco and I worry about Clayton Kershaw's age.
The Kershaw pick I thought was a little early.
Ryan Mountcastle, okay. Riley Green. Why do people love Riley Green?
They're on him. I'll tell you why they like him, because it's always the potential of him with a big bust out breakout year, but I don't know if this is going to be the year for him.
I don't like Riley Green. I don't like the Detroit Tigers. Jose Miranda, people want him. Jose Barrios, back to the well again. He loves Barrios. They brought the fences in. I don't think Barrios is that good. Do you? You got to forget about the Twins when they brought him up back in the day.
But even look at Barrios for the last 6-7 years, 5-6 years, whatever it is. His ERA sucks.
Yeah, I want to know part of him. But why go back to him? Why go back to him? Trevor Rogers again. Barrios Rogers back to the well, back to back. He had Rogers last year.
He's his guy.
Whit Merrifield, a little dip, second outfield qualification in Toronto.
Yep.
Alex Lang, you concerned about Lang again? You play the close game. You don't got to get the top closes. You just don't want to finish a 0 in the category. You're worried about his wildness. Lang tends to be wild, and plus Detroit. Lang, but plus Detroit.
But that's another committee.
It's more like a magazine pick. But Hader Lang, Michael Kopech, I thought he dipped. Christopher Morale already in the minus. Okay, so you have to worry about in the middle rounds that you took a Tiger closer, took a couple of Tigers, Riley Green, Alex Lown, and Christopher Morel from picks 10 to 18. That might be a little too much to recover from.
Yep.
19 to 26. Spencer Torkelson, Justin Steele, Yoan Moncada. Again, back to the well. Why? Moncada. Tell me about Moncada and what his numbers tell you. Find the stats for Moncada and tell me that you see something in those stats. Tell me that. He stinks.
Phone in, Paulie.
Paulie's not watching. He's probably busy right now. Mitch Keller, you concerned about the Pirates and the starting pitcher?
You know what? I like the pitchers. Pirates, a lot of times when they leave the Pirates, they get better. But I like Keller, especially at that point. We're talking 21st pick. Go for the guy that you really like.
Matthew Boyd, another Tiger.
You liked him. I'm not high on Boyd.
I like Boyd. He gets traded. What about the Indians? Monty Grandel. Forget him. Right?
Garbage.
Trevor Larnach, Colton Cowser. That's the minor leaguer. His closeout's a little bit shaky. Back to the well again. Moncada, Boyd on Detroit. Players on. Paulie likes to pick players on bad teams. Okay. One thing I will say, this is one of the better teams Paulie picked in a while. I don't know if that's saying much.
That's crazy.
You don't agree?
I thought he had more potential a couple years ago. There was, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, he had a really good draft.
When I first initially looked at the team, I thought it was better than it was, and then I took a deeper look. Okay, this team can fall apart if Kershaw's back acts up,
and his back is going to act up,
and if Rogers doesn't rebound. Okay, but other than that, I think the pitching is top notch and deep. Minus those two guys. I do not like Barrios. Okay? You should never take Barrios.
Barrios sucks.
And the fences are in.
I know people love him. I just look at his history. He's never really went out and proved that he was an ace like he's supposed to be.
And Alex Lang is a concern for me. Offensively, other than Trout and Yordan Alvarez, that's my neighbor's dog barking, there might be a lack of power. We need Miranda to show up, right?
We'll find out. And you know what? Don't sleep on Torkelson. Let's see what happens with him.
Do you think Christopher Morel, Riley Green, and Trevor Larnach, Spencer Torkelson, and Wander Franco are too much?
The Torkelson, I like the upside. Wander Franco is going to be just fine. The other ones I can't get behind.
If Trout doesn't run, there's a lack of speed.
He's not going to run.
He's not. Well, you never know. But what if he gets 15 steals?
That's
what I mean.
But
that's my neighbor's dog barking. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna give him 75 to 1 odds.
That's pretty good.
You know what I mean? Because his pitching may be very strong. Okay. If it all goes well, fine. But Paulie just keeps making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Bad teams, okay?
Yep.
Yon Makadas, the Riley Greens, the Spencer Torkelsons, the Trevor Rogers, stuff like that. I don't know if he could overcome.
Okay.
He should deal for a pitcher sooner rather than later. You know what I mean? Just to begin the process. 75-1 odds. Paulie Scavella.
That's probably his best odds that he got in a while for me.
Yeah, I really liked this team in the beginning, but then I was like, I fell off of it because I can't get over too many Pirates and too many Detroit Tigers. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's the 10th team we're talking about. Let's go. We're going to talk about the 11th team. Let's try to finish this off. We got 5 more teams to talk about. The video's taking longer than I thought.
You said an hour and a half. I said no way.
I thought an hour and a half, but let's see. We'll, this could be a 3-hour video. We don't know.
It's already 2.5.
But we had a long opening.
We did.
And then we got interrupted a few times. So we don't care about that. Team Archer, John Torchio, the 11th pick. It's hard to gauge John Torchio's interest because whenever we lead up to the draft, right, I always have to be like, Torch, are you ready? He doesn't answer the phone, this thing, that thing, the other thing. So, and then he gets involved late. And Torch is the type of guy that lives and dies by mock drafts and ADPs. You know what I mean? Because his commitment level isn't enough. Okay?
I think I did 1 mock draft in the last 10 years.
I'm not a big mock guy. I do a couple of them. If he would just devote more time, okay, and stop making excuses. And then I put Joe Bean in between us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So Joe Bean and John.
Might have helped him out a little bit. That's pretty good. I like that.
Well, Joe Bean and John Torchio grew up together. So, but Joe Bean told me something that he was helping Torch.
You know what?
During the draft.
On the first video, he did say that. I want to know if there's validity to that statement.
Yeah, like he was
I
saying.
need to know.
Yeah, he would be like more like a motivation.
Torch, you need to tune in.
Yeah,
and tell us on the message boards how much help you got from Joe Bean. Like
he would say, like, Torch, balance. Don't do this. Don't make this mistake. I don't think he was telling players, but he more like keep a good head like that. Plus, how many times I helped John Torchio?
Like a motivation coach.
So I think the Beans helped Torchio a lot.
You know what? Can I
You can say whatever you want. Yep.
So if you got a guy that the whole league is paying to be an assistant to the draft, I think it's unfair to have him assist any other team in the draft.
I don't get what you're saying. I don't get what you're saying. You overpaid Joe Bean?
You're saying, no. What I'm saying is if you're taking money out of the league to pay an assistant to the draft, why is he even concerned with another team's drafting strategies? Stay out of other teams' business when you're working for us. You're not working for anybody but us.
I mean,
that's my message to Joe Bean.
Well, is it John Torchio or Joe Bean?
Joe Bean. I love Joe Bean, but that's my message to him. If he's working for the league, he shouldn't be helping another team. Is that fair or not?
Maybe he just was like excited to sit by his friend. They grew up in the same neighborhood.
Well, you know what? He's excited. Maybe Joe needs a different area to sit, or maybe Torch does next year.
That's a good point. You want Torch to sit at a different table?
No, Torch. Look, that's between you guys, but I wouldn't. I'm
what
sure
what if John Torch is just simply saying, I don't know who to pick, a pitcher or and Joe Bean's like just saying balance.
No advice. You're not there to give advice to any other team owner. You're there to be fair and unbiased, and you're there to help and be the assistant to the commissioner.
No, you're really not the assistant to the. Well, yes and no, but
as far as the drafting goes, not the commissioner's assistant, but the drafting guy.
Just before we go to this team, because I want to move on. Yes or no? Did John Torchio get too much help from the Beans?
I mean, it's starting to sound like yes, but I can care less. But if you're getting paid through the league, I think you shouldn't help any other team at any point of the draft.
Okay.
That's worse than you giving Torch advice.
Well, let's move on. Let's not. We don't want to crush Torchio because he's a good dude.
I'm not crushing Torch.
Shohei Ohtani with the 11th pick. I mean, what about Ohtani with the whole pitcher, the utility? I mean, do you take him?
I mean, in our league, he went where you're supposed to go, and if you're taking Ohtani, don't get caught up. A little advice now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
don't get
give you.
caught
Don't
up.
get
Don't
caught
go.
up in the. He's pitching this week. He's an offensive player only.
I disagree. I think you have to pitch him this week because he opens up as a starter, and there's only 3 or 4 games.
You're talking about 1 week, is what
and
I'm
then
saying.
the All-Star break is another time. I
You're
think
talking 1 week.
Yeah, but you also have the option. Like if you draft a great offense and you don't need him to be your offense, but
that's correct.
But you don't draft him to be a pitcher.
But you draft him for offense.
Manny Machado on the wraparound. How did Machado
I
come
don't know
back?
how we got that far. Yeah.
I mean, I was going to take Machado in the first round. Kyle Schwarber. He asked me about Schwarber leading into the draft. I mean, his batting average, but no shift. I mean, are you on Schwarber with those home runs?
Great power. I hate his average. And
but I think the shift helps him with no average.
You
sure?
Trust me, yep.
Shane Bieber a little too early. Could have taken somebody else.
No, if you're high in him, and people are expecting a big comeback for Bieber, so that's not a bad idea.
Andre Jimenez a little early. Everybody loves him.
Early for Jimenez.
Framber Valdez, very good.
Love Framber.
Will Smith, the catcher. You know what I mean?
Great
that
catcher.
lineup isn't as deep, but he's going to bat fourth.
It sounds really good so far.
Hunter Green. I rather Lodolo.
But he got Hunter Green. But yeah.
Jake McCarthy bust all over McCarthy.
Yep.
Okay. I don't worry about that. Okay.
Okay.
Then number 10, Rizal Iglesias. Are you concerned about the shoulder? Now again, closers went early. He got Rizal Iglesias 10.
That's why he felt a 10. So at that point, you take the risk.
Chris Bryant. I kept telling him, Bryant, not taking.
I love Bryant.
Yeah, but why was he still there?
Did
you miss him?
I did, because he didn't perform for us last year.
Yeah.
So
Nico Horner, everybody was on him. Josh Bell, Daniel Bard. I don't think Daniel Bard even comes back this year. Right away, you have this issue with your closer.
Yep.
Gene Segura, playing every day third base the Marlins. Lourdes Gurriel could be a little sneak. Tony Gonsolin, well, no part of him. He's already hurt. I think last year was bullcrap. Lane Thomas.
Magazine pick.
Comes. I think Lane Thomas is a magazine pick.
I think Lane Thomas was against magazine pick.
19 to 20. This is where I think he fades. Kyle Finnegan. Okay? The fireman, the closer. We don't know. Bad team. Alberto Mondesi. I didn't fall into the trap. You're looking at what? What are you looking at?
I'm just looking at.
Oh, over there, Joe Bean is well endowed. Tyler Anderson. Did you want any part of Tyler Anderson coming away from the Dodgers, signing with the Angels and being on off a contract?
I like Tyler Anderson.
Nah, I want no part of
when you're talking about a 21st pick.
Ronji Contreras.
Love him. Love him.
Then you got like Keller.
I love him for the draft position and Keller at the same draft. Like, look at where they're going drafted. It's not like they were top 15. We're talking about 22, 23.
Matt Mervis is minor leaguer. Ranger Suarez. He yelled at Suarez. I was like, he was asking me about Suarez. He didn't yell his name out. I was like, you don't have to take him. And then 24-1 heard him say it. I was like, no, he didn't say that name. He was asking me about the player. And Torch was like, I said it loud. I said, no, you don't have to take it. But Torch was like, no, I'll do it. I don't want to cause no problems. He don't have to have Ranger Suarez, but he took him. He's a gentleman. Garrett Cooper, Bailey Ober. Okay? I'm not feeling that back end of that last third.
That's agreeable.
Off the beat, Torch has work to do. Okay? He's got like 4 or 5 hurt players in his lineup. Okay? Amazing. If I go back, he's got Mondesi, right? He's got Mondesi, Ranger Suarez, Gonsolin, Iglesias, and Bard. And we haven't even got to the first waivers yet.
But we all knew Mondesi was going to have.
I know, but we know that already. We understand it. But now he's got a couple of guys. Maybe 6 guys. So we all know he's going to make moves.
He's
got to make moves. Taking Ohtani early, I almost feel like he needs him more so as a pitcher. And I feel like that's a mistake. Okay? Yeah, the flexibility is good.
Yeah.
But his lineup construction, I feel like he needs him as a pitcher.
Well, okay. He has good, catcher. Look at catcher. Look at even first base with Bell. Machado, how could you not like him? He got power with Bryant, big power with Schwarber. So I don't think he's lacking power. He might be lacking a little bit of average to me. So we'll see if he keeps. If you're drafting Ohtani as a pitcher, he's the wrong guy to draft.
Yeah. What do you make of the Bard Finnegan issue? And now we have more information with Bard. So we know that we don't have to talk about that. And Iglesias, what if he doesn't get hurt healthy? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, he right now, I could totally see Torch saying, forget closes. I'm trading Iglesias when he comes back. I could see him doing it. That's why I say he looks ripe for a trade because
Right.
I know Torts. I understand them. You know what I mean? He did well in the draft, minus a little bit of the closing aspect to him. If Torch would just put a little more effort in earlier on, not make it such a late prep, and come in and enjoy the moment. I think sometimes he really doesn't enjoy the moment. You know what I mean? Just like even watching the video, like he knows the video is long and stuff like that, but he don't care about the video being live streamed. If he would correct some of these holes, you never know what would happen. You know, he could become a contender. But this is, again, before the Bard injury and before evaluating Bard, Finnegan, and Iglesias, okay? He did a good job, but did he do a good job because the Beans helped him?
Well, if that's the case, then he's doomed.
You know, you got to like his outfield. Bryant, Schwarber, even Gurriel, Jimenez, Horner, Machado. I don't like Segura and Cooper. You know, again, I like Torch's team. I don't think he's a contender. He's right outside. But I actually think his odds are worse. If I would have given him odds before opening day, it would be worse. So
where are we with
he's 20-1. 20-1 is a good team, but it's probably worse than that. You know, he's got.
I had a feeling that you were going to give him the best odds.
No, he's got good. The Bard issue is important to me, and he's got to overcome these DL stuff.
All right, who we got now?
We got 24 home run Anthony DeRue and Chris Pacone, the team number 12.
King of Spades.
King of Spades, right there. Okay, they were happy to get the shirt. Once again, they come early. They have all these computers. Even my brother was laughing after the whole draft. They're like, what are all these computers? Where is this? Where is that? You know what I mean? But I felt like they come in prepared, but everybody was prepared. Just like Tommy D'Amico getting his ass kicked in the draft. You know, I felt like they were a little frustrated too. They're very obnoxious. You don't think so?
I don't think they're obnoxious at all. You know, Chris is loud, but
you don't think they're arrogant? They're high and mighty.
I think they're confident.
Even the HOF speech, they got to be like, we weren't in the league that many years, and we missed a couple of years, and Sal wasn't in the league that many years. Like, that's arrogant.
I think that's confidence, and he's just spitting out facts. He wasn't lying. He was just saying what he felt.
What about the fact that they're one of the main violators of the draft software and linking and syncing leagues?
I don't think it's a violate. I think, look, they probably have it. You know,
you don't think draft software, if we sync the league and recreate our draft room, basically an online draft room, is unfair?
I don't know. I've never synced the league.
You don't think that's unfair?
I don't think so.
You don't think? Let's say I open up the draft room by myself. No one else. I let nobody else in. Would that be unfair?
No.
I disagree with you. What's the fun of having a draft if you're going to have 7 computers and everybody else?
You get news. Sometimes it's about news and it's about keeping up to your players. You know, you have a pen and paper. It's the same shit.
Isn't it about you doing your own thing, your own pick?
I think they do their own.
Why don't they just have a robot make their picks?
I don't think they have a.
I
think they make their own picks.
You don't understand some of these websites with their syncing and their software. It kind of tells you this guy's been picked 49% of the time. This guy's been picked 71%. You don't understand some of your software is outdated, I think.
I use it to cross guys off and keep track. So it's the same thing as a paper, and I can go and see like depth charts, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at who got who, and that's what I'm looking at.
24 home runs sold their soul to the Devils many years ago because they come into this league years ago and they can never compete. And we're talking about guys that know numbers, love numbers. And they were like, why can't we win? Why can't we win? And therefore they did what they did. Hired help, 7 computers, software, syncing leagues, doing everything possible. And let me tell you something, when you have a partner, you could do this stuff. There are people that don't have partners that can't run this and run that and do this and do that. Okay, so let's be clear here. If you're using software and you're syncing it and recreating the Spades draft room kind of online, I have a problem with that. I don't think that's fair.
I think you're overreacting, but
I put it up there as a poll, and most people voted. Okay, and thank you, Anthony DeRue, for the bagels. Okay, the guy never not comes through. Okay. Thank you, Christopher Owen, for the donuts, the muffins, and the coffee.
They always come
We
through.
appreciate
They always
that.
come through.
They always come through. They're awesome people. Okay. But their methods are questionable. Bo Bichette, 5 tools, 12th pick. We can't argue with that. Austin Riley. Devers went before Riley. Riley went before Mercado. I thought that was weird. Tommy Edman, a little early because he's not even leading off, but he does have speed. The third round is early. Good, yeah. Shea McClanahan, everybody wanted him. Great anchor. Max Fried already with you concerned about the hammy?
I am.
Yeah.
I just hate when the pitchers get it this early. And that would, that is and would have been a great number 2 to McClanahan. So I'm sure they're disappointed with that news and Fried.
Clay Holmes, you worried about his security a little bit?
I don't think the closer of the Yankees currently is going to finish the year closing. That's all I'll say.
That's why I like Michael King or even a little while ago.
Or
somebody else.
I don't think it's going to be King either.
Matt Chapman, Antonio Santander, CJ Chrome. Chapman early. You worry about his batting average? They love power, though.
They love Matt. I don't like his average, but how could you not like the power?
You worried about CJ Chrome getting traded?
Even if he does, he's still a fucking beast.
Charlie Morton, I think people liked Morton because he was going deeper in drafts and people didn't want to target the top guys. So we were more looking about the Lodolos, the Lins, the Giolitos, the Mortons. Jose Altuve is smart to pick him. He went late.
Yep.
I would have rather have Altuve than Harper. And Bryce Harper went to a KKB and they took him way too early.
Yeah, I agree.
Chris Bassett, Sean Murphy. You concerned about Murphy a little bit with the notes still there?
No, I like Murphy.
Jeff McNeil, Jorge Mateo. I mean, he better steal or else he's going to be benched.
He's a waste of a pick, I think.
No, he's not, but he got 2 stolen bases right away.
Well, then he's going to be valuable. But he was off mine, and I could be wrong, and I've been wrong about many players many times.
Kendall Graveman.
Okay,
I don't trust him because it looks like Lopez has a jump on him.
I like Lopez to finish the year with that job.
Well, Hendricks comes back. Sean Manaea.
If Hendricks come back.
Sean Manaea is disappointing. Mitch Haniger, you worry about the oblique and being hurt right away?
I'm worried about his playing time.
Well, he's going to play, but he hurt the oblique. He gets hurt. Yeah. And he's in San Fran. Yep. Luis Urias. Luis Urias. We made a mistake at the draft. Yeah, we didn't make a mistake. He's hurt already. He might have a bad hamstring.
Well, that'll suck.
Tyler Glasnow. So he stashes Glasnow and Altuve, takes advantage of the DL rule. Yep. Fine. But Glasnow, he always gets hurt. He has to come back. So Altuve and Glasnow are coming back, but a month from now, 2 months from now, could it be a little too late?
Never for them. They know what they're doing.
Ross Stripling, Jose Siri. I wasn't even looking at Siri. Tell me about Siri. Anything I'm missing?
I'm not a Siri guy.
He hits a home run opening day.
Yeah, well, a lot of people do.
Jock Peterson.
Bobby Bonilla hit 2 of them.
Yeah. Jock Peterson, Michael Fulmer. He did come in as the last pitch in a 4 game. I don't know.
That's a good sneaky pick. You never know.
Michael Soroka as a minor leaguer, Kevin Ginkel. So they have Graveman, Ginkel, Fulmer, as part of and Holmes. So they didn't really pair up Holmes.
They didn't.
Okay.
And I don't think Holmes is going to be the guy anyway. So
if you look at their outfield, Santander, McNeil, Peterson, Haniger. That outfield don't concern you? McNeil's in their outfield. And then you add in utilities, Siri and Mateo.
Peterson with his, they got McNeil to make up for the Peterson average. Santander, I think he's on a good team this year. He's actually a decent. I like him a lot. And if Siri can, be what they want him to be, then it's not bad. But right now, I'd be disappointed with it. And how bad is that Haniger injury?
Yeah, but you say McNeil to pick up for the Peterson average, but what about Santander, Siri, and Mateo? What about their average?
Bad averages.
What about Matt Chapman's average?
Yeah.
Okay. Urias ain't an average guy and he's hurt. Okay, not like Tommy Edman bats 300.
Fair.
So is it fair to say that they have a horrible batting average?
I agree.
Okay. Clay Holmes, Fulmer, Graveman, Ginkel. We got concerns here.
4 question marks.
Okay. McClanahan, Fried already hurt.
I love McClanahan. The Fried.
We can't talk bad about
the injury. The Fried injury was,
Morton, Bassett, Manaea. Do you know after the draft how many people call me up and say 24 home run, did it again? I can't believe the team 24 home run guy. Oh my God, they're the greatest. How do they do it? And I'm like, yo, slow your roll.
They do have a good team, but
Why? We just said no average, bad outfield, pitching staff, a lot of question marks. Frieda's hurt. Their relievers aren't that Graveman, Fulmer, Ginkgo. Matched up with Clay Holmes, and Clay
Well, they
Holmes
got the
is
Fried injury. That hurt him big time because they're going to get Class now back. And then Soroka's amazing.
You know what's funny
once he comes back.
Bacone usually enjoys the drafts, and he does. But do you see him snap a few times at the draft? He snapped and got mad.
He got mad at Anthony, didn't he?
He got mad. And when he gets mad, right, I know he's not happy with his draft.
Okay.
I would like to ask him, and I'm going to interview. I want to interview him, okay? Because I think a lot of people would enjoy me interviewing him. And putting the screws to the test and putting him on the chopping block and giving him the tough questions. Is your hired help the Adam Ronis's and the Lenny Melnicks and whoever the hell you're not telling us about? Are they happy with your draft? When you gave them the results and the other team's results, because I know you have the results of every team before I even put them in the league. Are they happy with your draft? I don't want to hear about your fantasy pros, A+, A-, whatever it is. Are they happy with your draft?
Wow.
Because you weren't happy with your draft. Because you were so mad at the draft.
Wow.
I'm sorry if I got a little too.
Seems personal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'll bet you 4,000. I'll bet you. How many times he wants to say that?
And he'll win more times than not. So.
What if Jeff McNeil doesn't bat 326 again?
What if he bats 315? He's not an under 300.
No, but not everybody bats the same. And then you got to carry Chapman and Siri and Mateo and Peterson and Santander. And who's supporting McClanahan now that Frieda's gone? And your relievers. You have so many questions here. You cannot be happy. I don't know why people continue to kiss their ass. Okay?
They got 5 chips in 12, 13 years.
They bring 5 computers. They sync the lead. They do so much stuff that's borderline crossing the line.
Wow.
Okay?
Big
what if we went to no devices during the draft? Just paper. What if we did that?
I think we're all good with that, but we'd all, we're in a modern era. We need news. We need other things.
Am I blind when I look at this team? Because I don't see what people are saying. Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, I don't think it's one of their better teams that they've ever had, but they show year after year that they're going to compete.
This is a bad team.
What are their odds?
350 to 1.
That's bad odds.
Bottom 5. Bottom 5 bad team. They know it. You know it, Anthony DeRue, and you know it, Chris Bacone. The only thing you got out of this draft was that I gave you the surprise of all surprises, and I gave you the 24 home run t-shirt. You remember that. Who would have thunk it? Your team stinks, but I won't bet you. All right, so we got 3 more teams to talk about. Let's fly through these. Bloody Nine, Chris Donnie. Chris Donnie's been involved in the chat. He probably fell asleep.
Always comes prepared.
Chris Donnie, if you did not fall asleep, give us a little chat. Give us a little comment saying you're still there. Okay? He last tweeted us or commented about 19 minutes ago. He arrived early, probably before you.
Yep.
Okay? And we
Definitely
always
before me.
Yeah, we always say, is he missed time? He threw us off this time, right?
Yep.
But he does the dynasty leagues, and you said to me, he's prepared. I know he prepares early because he's got to prepare for the dynasty league.
Yep.
And then you said, and I was telling you he's not. Okay, he just did something. That was before. And you told me that that's bullcrap because he's got to prepare for the dynasty leagues. Okay. He picked a spot. He settled in. Okay. I think the fact that the dynasty leagues are preparing early helps him.
It does.
Okay.
Why wouldn't it?
He's also another one that uses a highly controversial draft software to organize his draft. Remember we used to have the assistant Richie Ramirez, So he's got to input a lot of information to organize for the draft, okay? I think it helps him because I think that if we didn't do that, he would be he's here. What are you going to do? Type to him? No, tell him, don't call in. Don't call him. Chris Donnie, the only way you could come into the screen is if you
That's what I meant.
clicked on the link.
Click on the link.
No, he's on the YouTube. He's watching the YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he didn't get. If he finds a way to get on the link, we would put him on the air. We can't put him on the air with YouTube. When he isn't in the right frame of mind, Okay, he's a debacle. Again, I will say this to you: that fucking horn for the boat horn, don't ever do that again. Okay, no one is safe,
That's amazing.
and I mean that. No one is safe. Okay, the potato croquettes are great.
Amazing.
And you know, this is again, all your people would never bring anything. You don't have to bring anything, but you don't understand. Like some of these guys spend $100, $200. They spend money, let alone their fee, to make everybody happy. There's so many people that this is like their greatest favorite day of the year, and Chris Donnie is right there amongst us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And the shirt and the lighter and the gifts. I mean, and he's one of the greatest people on earth. Okay,
Amazing.
and his ass is probably puckering up as we speak. I like the fact that he settled in. Okay. Fernando Tatis before Mercado.
That threw me off because I thought you could have got
Both of them. He could have both of them. He let Mercado go.
Yeah.
I think when it was time to pick Mercado, he was like, I don't want two Padres. I don't want two Padres. I don't want two Padres.
Got it.
Because he had Tatis. Okay. But to me, I'm like, you pick Mercado. Okay. I like with Tatis, you know, you worry about the steroids. You know, he's going to miss 20 games. If they would have made the World Series, there would have been less games. But April 20th, he's due back, and that's not far from now. Alex Bregman, he jumps on third. He recognized third base was weak.
Yep.
So now I'm like, okay, he recognizes third base was weak. Chris Donnie's prepared.
Of course.
Okay. Emmanuel Clase jumps on the closer. Lucas Giolito, right?
Yep.
I like Giolito. He took him before Lance Lynn. He also got Lance Lynn. Wiley Adames, Nick Castellanos, everybody on the rebound. He gets Giolito and Lance Lynn. I'm sorry, Luis Castillo was the guy.
Yep.
I read that wrong. He took Castillo with the fifth pick, not Giolito. He took Giolito 8th and Lynn 9th. Okay. I mean, I love this front nine. I love this front nine. I mean, minus the fact that these guys are rebounders. So he was on a lot of the same guys I was on.
Which might scare the shit out of him right now. But
no.
I get it.
And then he dives into the Jared Kelenic pick, 10th round. Should we give Kelenic another chance?
At that point, to take a risk for Kelenic, because the upside is super huge if you get him. And then he got, one base. He got Freeman over there. I think he's. I'm just looking.
He could have took Mercado, but he took Freeman. Let's get that clear. He went Tatis, Freddie Freeman. He could have took Tatis and
Freeman's
Mercado.
better than Mercado.
But he could also have Freeman and Mercado. He didn't have to
but
take
he got
Tatis.
Freeman and Bregman as his third baseman.
Yeah,
so
first third. So
and he still got Tatis, so it worked out.
But getting back to Kelenic, I mean, Kelenic is the type of player. If he ever figures it out, he's a league winner.
Right.
But 10th round.
That's the time to take him. He probably wasn't getting back to him.
Pablo Lopez, I loved him.
Yep.
I wanted him. Jameson Taillon.
How could you not like Taillon?
I don't know.
You got to say healthy.
He took a guy in the 13th round I wanted so bad, Garrett Mitchell. You concerned about Garrett Mitchell?
No, I like Garrett Mitchell, but he's not like I'm not wowed by Garrett Mitchell.
I love that,
but I like him.
Then he goes 14, Ketel Marte. Let me tell you something about Ketel Marte, everybody. Give up on this guy.
Nope.
He's like Yoel Moncada.
Nope.
Give me the evidence. Show me the evidence that why you get sucked into the trap of yelling out the name Ketel Marte. You know who you could have got in the 14th round if you would have just said, stay away from Ketel Marte? I can't do Ketel Marte.
That was a great upside pick. There's nothing wrong with Marte.
Oh, my God. I can't stand him. Colton Wong. I'm sorry, Hunter Brown, then Colton Wong. You know, Brown has the opportunity. McCullers is never around. You know, so everybody was on Brown a little bit. Colton Wong, you know, I don't know, but you want to – maybe the rules help him a little bit. Jesse Winker I have a problem with, 17th round.
He's a guy that hasn't been able to put it together for a while. But at 17th round, if he actually puts it together, he can have, you know, and he doesn't have to be a superstar at that point. All he has to do is really be good. 18th round, Scott McGuffin. This is how come you know someone prepared. Yep.
I wonder how many people in the draft room were like, Scott McGuffin is a closer on the Diamondbacks.
Yep.
How many people knew that?
3.
Nah, maybe a little bit more.
Maybe 5.
But 24 home run didn't. They picked Ginkle.
Right.
But he also took McGuff a little bit early. So what I love about Chris Donnie is when you prepare, you have to decide when it is to take the pick, because the pick is about the upside. I could go through everybody's 18th round pick. I could go through everybody's 14th round pick. And now I'm going to say McGuff in the 18th round is the upside, because you have to see how many people waste picks on guys like Ketel Marte and, you know, guys that aren't Scott McGuff. 19 to 26, Trey Mancini. People want him again. He came off the illness last year.
He's gonna be.
People
good.
like the Cubs. Like Adam Duvall, I worry about him a little bit.
I worry about his average more than anything.
But why? Because the Green Monster is gonna help him.
I don't think so, but I don't like his average, but he got power. There's no debating that.
Steven Matz, I can't get on board. Adam Wainwright, that's 20 and 21 and 22. Will Benson, forget about Benson. Gavin Stone might get the opportunity with Pepe out hurt.
Yep.
Mays innings limits. But they also got a couple of pitches there. But Stone could be a good guy. Chris Donnie prepares. When you look at Chris Donnie's draft, he prepares.
Yep.
He threw us for a loop. He said he wasn't prepared. You know, the girlfriend's involved. I'm working. My son. All this crap. But when you do a dynasty and you have a slow draft and you got to start looking at players, all players,
yep.
January, you're ahead of the game. Shane Langoliers, I would never, that should catch it. That should catch it.
How could you be disappointed with Shane Langoliers in the last pick?
I know, but still. Everything Chris Donnie did leading up to the draft was spot on. Okay? It's clear he learned from his mistakes. We used to say he missed time, his prep, and all that stuff. He got rest. He made sure he slept. He didn't hang out with us, okay? He came early. He unlocked the door. He got his table. He got comfortable, okay? He came in determined. He loved it. He kind of, he got a bad pick. I hit him right away. You got the third pick, bad pick, okay? Let's start with his pitching. He was one of the teams to put a staff like this together. How does he put this staff like this together?
That's an amazing
Giolito,
job.
Lynn. Okay. Let me go look at his staff. Giolito, Lynn, Castillo, Lopez, Tyon Hunter Brown. Yep. Right? McGuffin Clase. The only knock is Steven Matz. I can't knock anybody else.
Matz is a pussy, but everybody else is
arguably, you could argue he has the best staff. Now, there's a couple of rebound candidates. Like Giolito's I love Giolito. He's got to come through, but who doesn't like Giolito? So we start with the staff. He targeted a lot of guys I wanted. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Offensively, there can be some worries. You know what I mean? If I look at his offense, Shane Langoliers.
It's a catcher.
I know. Fine. So let's leave it. Ketel Marte. Right? Upside. I don't like him. But I
skipped over Freeman.
I'm not. Freeman, Adames, Bregman, fine. Adames. Colton Wong, you taking them for steals. Now let's look at the outfield.
Yep.
Castellanos, we love the rebound. So he got rebound guys. Giolito, Castellanos, but he's got a lot of rebound guys. Rosario, I'm concerned about Rosario, but he's got, Tatis coming back. Tatis is going to replace Rosario. Yep. So it's really Castellanos, Mitchell, Tatis, Kelenic. If he breaks through.
That's the guy. That's the question mark. And if he breaks through, that's a championship team right here, in my opinion.
I'm going to say that I don't care what Marte does. Marte could be a drop. The key to the team is Kelenic, but he almost doesn't need Kelenic. Okay? I just want to congratulate Chris Donnie. I really do. I think that Chris Donnie is going to win his second title.
Nice.
Yeah. And I don't think it's close.
Championship elite.
I think Bloody Nine is the clear favorite.
Champion elite.
2-1 odds.
Wow.
Okay? And I just, if Kelenic does anything, and this guy stays healthy, because I don't think you could touch his staff. I don't think anybody could touch the Bloody Nine staff. You know what I mean? And you throw Tatis into this lineup, and Castellanos rebounds, and Giolito rebounds. And then you got guys like smart picks like McGuff. Chris Donnie was so in tune with the draft room and his prep. Software could make a difference. Let me tell you something right now. We have to decide this about software. But Chris Donnie, I love you. Thanks for the croquettes. You are. And I don't think it's close. I really don't. You are the 2-1 post-draft Spades 2023 favorite. Unbelievable draft. Unbelievable job. You made all the right decisions leading up to the draft. Okay? Whatever you did in your personal life, tell your girlfriend you need time, all that stuff. You got sleep. I mean, I don't know. How do you not like Bloody Nine? How do you not look at this team and say, this is a great team?
I love the team.
Right?
I do. I really do.
You know what I mean? That's all. Huh? He even said, "Wow."
And he said Freddie Freeman second, like we didn't say that.
Oh wait, maybe incorporate some Al software next year. What? That's from my cousin Phil Saggs. Phil Saggs, a late bloomer.
Phil, what's up, buddy?
Hi, Al. Is Al in the room? If they would have signed into the link, they could have got on. I would have put my cousins on the air. But anyway, we got 2 more teams to talk about. We want to talk about. Yeah. Well, we can't. The crypto's not doing well.
It's always there.
But Phil Benny and Alex Benny are 2 of the very special people in my life. And we're looking at the picture on the refrigerator. So, But, I appreciate them being in a room, especially when they don't really know anything about baseball. Anyway, we got 2 more teams to talk about. Let's go, because the video is really long. We're approaching 3 hours. Cream team, Darrell Williamson, Sneaky Pete. We only got 2 teams to talk about. When you are this old and you incorporate youth, like a Sneaky Pete, because Sneaky Pete, remember when I loved baseball. No one knew more about baseball than me when I was a little kid. Okay. Does Sneaky Pete influence Darrell yet?
I think so. I think he made a couple picks. I think this is time. I mean, if they're partners or not, I need to know, because it's not fair to a team like Chris Donnie, as Bloody Nine, and then when he had his partner and now they're separated. So now that Darrell has a partner, because he says it, I have the picture that he gave me. Thank you for the picture. I look at it. I keep it in my car, like on my dashboard, so I can look at it every
day. That was
day.
a great gesture.
That was a nice gesture.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
I love him.
Who doesn't love him?
But now is the time to separate, and now he has to start from scratch again with the Hall of Fame points.
Yeah. And Phil Saggs, Phil Bean says, "What's up, Sal?"
I love him. Yes,
what's up? Good people. And we're gonna miss the barrio, but we'll have new places, right?
Yep.
I don't know if Darrell let Sneaky Pete in. There was a couple of times during a draft where even Sneaky Pete was shaking his head, because Darrell also still comes up to me too much. When you have 2 people and a guy that loves baseball like Sneaky Pete, even though he's a young kid, you shouldn't be coming up to me, Darrell, coming up to me that much and asking me, is this guy taken? Is this guy not taken? Okay.
Got it.
I think Darrell has yet to release the reins. He doesn't think Pete is ready yet.
Okay,
which I understand, because this is still Darrell's team. It's the cream team. He just Darrell. This kid is a great kid,
and he shows more professionalism than the 2 in the corner.
Yeah, and I like the fact that this, like, Sneaky Pete is like young and to be in this draft room at that age.
Amazing. That's knowledge.
You know what I mean? And I want him to become a great Major League Baseball player. Okay, but if he doesn't, and baseball is always his passion, like it is mine. Fantasy baseball, it could be your passion.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you're always welcome in the Spades League. And if that transitions from Darrell to Sneaky Pete, we love that. Let's look at Darrell's draft. Garrett Cole, no surprise, he loves pitching. Pete Alonso, Jacob deGrom. So he goes 2 out of 3. Cole, deGrom. You concerned about Grom? We love Alonso. We're not going to talk about. I
wasn't messing with deGrom. Top 5, 6, 7.
He got beat up yesterday.
And he got beat up again last night. Yep.
Starling Marte, Kevin Gausman, Salvi Perez. Marte, you concerned a little bit about him?
Starling Marte, no. I like him. He brings a little bit of everything to the table, so that's not a bad draft.
DeGrom, Marte's age, they don't concern you, huh? The fences in for Gausman, they don't concern you?
I don't like DeGrom. I'm a Met fan. I love DeGrom, but he's never he just doesn't stay healthy.
You don't think Salvi Perez is a little overrated at the catcher position?
Why is he overrated?
Because he doesn't get any runs scored and steals. He's more like a.
But he does it every year.
But he's never going to have that 48 home run, 112 RBI a year again.
No, he's not going to.
He's 27.80.
He doesn't need that.
But there's guys that could do 27.80 and get you runs scored and steals. You know what I mean?
Cool. How many?
There are catchers that could do that. Tyler O'Neill, you concerned with the crowded outfield, but I think Carlson loses out. Giancarlo Stanton, Yon Duran. I think he gets lucky with Yon Duran. Right away, Yon Duran gets the save.
Yep.
Right? There was a mystery with Munoz and Duran coming into the draft.
Yep. But that's another committee. So I think
it's not a committee.
I think.
Why, you don't think yesterday was a hint?
No, I mean, we all had Duran.
But Jorge Lopez came in the 7th inning.
Yeah, but we all had Duran being their closer for most of it, but it's still going to be committee.
Yeah. Javier Baez, he's had him before.
I like Baez.
Luis Arias, remember when Paulie thought, he had Urias.
No,
again, they don't pay attention.
And he even said the team that he was on and everything. So there was no gray area with that.
Ty France, Corey Kluber, Josh Rojas, Jared Walsh, Craig Kimbrell, Brandon Hughes, Fairbanks. Do you think the Rays kind of finally have like a full-time closer with? I like Fairbanks coming into
I
the
like
draft.
Fairbanks too, but they until the Rays show it, they always have committee.
Corey Kluber. I mean, the Red Sox aren't that good. Is he a drop?
I'm not a Kluber guy.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Josh Rojas has kind of got like the short end of the stick. Why even bring in Evan Longoria if you're the Diamondbacks?
They need a veteran. They want a veteran. They got a bunch of young guys on their team. Let's see what happens with him.
But does Rojas play enough to maintain that value?
I think he'll play enough. I think, the way baseball's played these days, a lot of guys get a lot of opportunities.
Is Craig Kimbrell the closer of the Phillies?
Arguable.
But I came into the draft saying he's the closer. Now, he had a few bumps in the road last year. Closers can have off years. If he's the closer, do you think he has a good year? Like, if I were to tell you he was the closer.
If he's the closer, he's going to have a good year.
Well, because he keeps a job?
Yeah. If he's having a bad year, he's not going to keep the job.
Wilmer Flores, Brett Beatty. Brett Beatty being sent down was a surprise.
No, and I kind of felt it. That's the way the Mets roll, but that's fine. He's going to come up and be okay.
Is Escobar on a short leash?
100%. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Martin Perez, Jake Fraley, Osvaldo Cabrera might get lucky a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not a Fraley guy either.
Alan Ashby, why take him?
Yeah, I do like the outfield and the ballpark in Cincinnati, but Fraley's not going to be on my team.
Brandon Crawford, Pete Crow Armstrong, who I didn't know about. I know everybody. Darryl has some work to do here. Ashby in his lineup, Kluber, Perez, right?
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of that. Stanton, Marte, DeGrom. What do we talk about them? They got to stay healthy.
Always.
If they do.
Monsters.
I have a feeling about another guy when I redid my prep was Javier Baez. I put him down. I hate him. But then I said to myself, you know what? Maybe.
25, 30 home runs.
Salvador Perez, Wilmer Flores, Brandon Crawford. A lot of older same names. Darryl tends to have these guys. Yep. Marte, DeGrom, Stan, Baez, Salvador Perez.
But then he mixes it in. He got Ty France over there at the corner, which he can have a really good year. He could have a breakout year, to be honest.
He also has 3 stud arms when you talk about Cole, DeGrom, and Gausman. And then he might have 3 closers.
Gausman, I love Gausman this year.
You're not worried about the fences?
I'm not.
Duran, Fairbanks, and Kimbrell. He might have 3 closes. Darryl's, but what are we talking about? Like, there might be 20 guys on his team that will not be on Darryl's team at the end of the year.
20. His job and his goal every year is to trade every one of them. I wouldn't be surprised if none of these people on his team this year is on his team.
Initially, I really, really, really loved Darryl's team. I actually told like a couple of guys, look at Darryl's team. Then I got away from that a little bit as I took a deeper look. He could have took other guys over Alonso. I'm not going to argue that much. I don't know if
Alonso right there is perfect.
No, but do you take 2 out of your first 3 picks in pitching when offense is important? That's Alex.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good.
Yeah.
He's
talking about the painting in the back.
He mentioned the painting early.
Yeah, because I'll talk a little bit about it because Alex is on the air. So that my father had passed away, Phil and Alex's uncle, and that was in the shop. And I took the shop over for a little bit. And where you going?
I'm going to go to the restroom while you talk about the painting and then catch me up. I have to go to the restroom.
Okay. And but you had to hear about what Biggles Jones said. And my uncle held it for a little bit. Uncle Phil Sags, I just farted. And I own it. I have it now. It's on my wall. So thank you, Al, for recognizing that. But the video is taking long, and my cousins are, interjecting a little bit. Phil Sykes says the road looks like it could be a little unfinished on the painting, though. That's because Aunt Connie said that. You think because Aunt Connie thinks it was a little bit of an error. I disagree. Okay, are you talking about right about here? She thinks that this is unfinished. I disagree. Okay, I think that's part of the painting. All right. So This is supposed to be a baseball video. All right. Sal's going to the bathroom. And I don't know how come you guys didn't click on the link. You guys could have clicked on the link and I could have put you on the screen. You know what I mean? And I had to put the shirts up to the champion shirts from the baseball league, and the Sal's championship belt is back there, you know, and all that stuff. So, Sal, when you're going to come out of the bathroom? It's a bad time to go to the bathroom, right? We're in the middle of talking about the 14th team. Any advice for crypto? You guys want to text or chat any crypto advice? Phil Sags or a Biggle Jones? You know? I guess not. All right. It's not easy when you're on the camera alone. So, you know what I'm saying? Here comes Sal right now. Sal, you don't have to close the door when you go to the bathroom. It's only you and I over here. What are you doing? Getting more ice? Sal's making a drink. Should I have another drink?
Yeah, if you want.
Let's finish the video. Okay, let's finish the video. We only got 2 teams to talk about. All right, Sal's back, everybody. Thanks a lot. Okay. Getting back to Daryl, we talked about he's going to flip this roster how many times? My cousins are great, aren't they?
He's not y'all the best. He's not going to have. I mean,
but is Alex your favorite cousin of mine?
I love Alex. It's my
Yeah.
crypto guy. But I like
Yeah.
Phil. I like all your cousins. They're great people.
And then Gator loves Janine. Janine was supposed to make like some cupcakes for him or something. Cake or something.
I don't know.
Gator. We'll have to
That's
ask
a web.
about
That's
that.
a good web.
But she's getting married to Andrew, and we wish them the best of luck. This will be a great wedding. The Cy and Benny weddings are great. Anyway, we're getting off track. All right. 2 out of 3 of his first picks were pitches.
Always.
To Grom and Cole, but that's Darryl, right?
Which is amazing that it wasn't the first 2 picks, because he usually likes to go back to back with them.
Other than Marte, there's not much speed on this team. Okay. Again, I look deeper. Maybe Rojas a little bit, but what if Rojas? I don't know. Why are you bringing Evan Longoria in? I just don't understand. You know?
Yep.
And I initially I wrote these reports before, but what if Duran don't close? But it's clear that Duran is closing and Kimbrel falters. So what if Duran doesn't close and Kimbrel falters? I think you could put that to rest. You know, honestly, I love this team, but then I reevaluated and I was like, this isn't that good of a team. Buyer beware. Okay, buyer beware. Marte, Stanton, DeGrom, right? Salvador Perez, Flores, Crawford, Baez. Buyer beware.
Well, that's where I get.
Here's
the
what
Rojas, the Flores, the Fraley,
Fraley, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think Darryl needs to release the reins and let Stinky Pete have a little bit more of an influence here. Okay. 300 to 1. Okay. You know, again, we could give him 300 to 1s, but we don't know what this team is going to look like in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months. Right. You know what I mean? I think that sometimes when Duran and if Kimbrel gets a few saves, it's going to slow Darryl down a little bit. Like I think if Jorge Lopez got a save, he would move Duran. So sometimes how these players perform directs Darryl in what he's training and who he's trading. But we know he's going to trade. Anyway, let's talk about the last team, Metropolitans. I apologize for the length of the video.
Stark.
Richard Stark, Metropolitans had a 15 pick. Do you think coming into the draft he was happy that he was the first team picked out of the hat?
No, he was miserable about it.
I don't know if he was.
He was miserable. He complained all about it.
Did he?
Yeah.
I couldn't hear him. You could hear him from there?
He was telling me. He goes, ask him. Trust me. He was miserable about the pick.
Now, he doesn't put a lot of effort in preparing. So I think he's one of these guys that does the whole like Fantasy Pros, RotoWire, print the list, does mocks, he's an ADP guy. He never could inject his own beliefs into his draft tactics.
Got it.
Okay? But that's because he just doesn't put the effort in. If he could just involve himself a little bit more, he might do a little bit better. Now, he may not like the 15 pick, but what I think he realized finally was he took him a while to go. He made 2 in a row, and then he doesn't pick for a while.
So he has time to get his stuff together.
He's the type of guy that needs time.
Yep.
Because he doesn't prepare.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Now, I don't know if he bugged James Yost at all because I can't see everything.
I don't think he did, but, because I was right there. I was kind of sitting. There was Walter to my left, them two, and I was here, but I don't know.
You can't live and die by the ADP. You can't live and die by these mock drafts. You know what I mean? And he was, he brought his own what was it, cucumber vodka. What did he bring?
It was a cucumber vodka.
Did you try any?
No, but I've had it before. It's pretty good.
But was he drinking or not drinking? Because I always felt like he was always going to have one or two drinks.
I think he was drinking. I don't know how much he drank. I wasn't keeping tabs on anybody, but I know he had a couple.
It's the fact that he's accessing the same info that we all access. So if this person is not going to, implement some of his own style, then all he is really doing is following the book, following the magazine. But what I do think is initially he didn't like the 15 pick, but when he realized it gave him time to catch up, and then he would go boom, boom, right back to back. Yep. I think eventually he enjoyed it. Okay. Bobby Witt was in the first round, coming out of the first round, back in, I think, because of the oblique, some of the Yordan Alvarez, stuff like that. So he goes Bobby Witt, Rafael Devers. Devers before Mercado and Riley?
I love Devers, so don't ever talk bad about Devers. He's right around where I think he needed to be.
Brandon Woodruff, O'Neal Cruz.
Love Woodruff, love Cruz this year.
But a Cruz a little too early with the fourth round on the Pittsburgh Pirates?
He wasn't coming back to him. That's the same thing with you and Carroll. I think he's going to have more home runs and possibly steals than Carroll, but Carroll's is going to have the average. So I don't like O'Neal's average, but he brings everything else to the table.
George Springer, William Contreras, who I actually like better than Wilson. Joe Musgrove, I'm not afraid about the toe. Luis Garcia, the pitcher. The front nine is extremely strong.
Yep.
Okay, but mostly by the book. I'm digging it. I love the front nine. Good. I love the front nine. Okay. Hunter Renfroe, power lineup. Brandon Lowe. I love Brandon Lowe on the rebound, second base. People forget about him. David Robinson. He already closed. Okay, so now you go Doval Robinson. So you got closes.
You know Robinson was going to be the guy anyway.
Andrew Haney.
Until the trade happened.
I don't like Andrew Haney. I don't know why people love him. Josh Jung, right? What do you think about him?
I'm a big Jung guy.
He got derailed as a prospect because he got hurt.
Texas knows what they're doing, so they usually don't know what they're doing, but this year they're on to something. They have a lot of energy around that team. They got the young guys. They brought in some pitching. I believe they're going to have a good year this year, and he's going to be a big part of it.
Will Myers, possibly in Cincinnati, first base outfield, but you can't guarantee it.
Yep.
Alex Verdugo, Carlos Carrasco, Andrew Benintendi. Okay? There's some clever picks between 9 and 18. Okay? But there's not a lot of upside. I mean, Robinson, you could say upside, but once Diaz gets hurt, like Robinson's got the job.
Of course.
But this is what I have a problem with these managers. Why they got to keep everything a secret? If you're going, Munoz is going to be a closer. If Duran's going to be a closer, if Robinson's going to be a closer, you say it. You're not offending your other players.
Yeah, but we know that what's going to happen.
You don't know that. Duran and Munoz, you did not know. Okay, with this whole fireman thing. 19 to 26, and this is where your lack of prep and your stamina and thinking out of the box comes into effect. Michael Walker, Marcus Stroman, David Peralta, Juan Yepes. Why are you picking Juan Yepes?
How does Walker make a team?
But Stroman in with the 20th pick was
I like
the
Stroman.
You had a couple of starters like the Taiwan Walkers going to 20th round. Juan Yepes, come on.
Nope.
Eduardo Rodriguez, do you want a Detroit Tiger pitcher? Kyle Harrison as a minor leaguer. Trevor Story.
He eats innings.
Liam Hendricks. Liam Hendricks. I mean, he took him with the last pick.
Trevor Story goes right into it. You know what? He goes right into his IL.
He took Liam Hendricks with the last pick of the draft.
Yeah.
And I always felt like Hendricks was going to come back sooner than later.
That's always debatable. You never know. That's a big treatment that he's going through. You don't know how he's going to react. He wouldn't be on my team. I can understand taking a risk with him. And at the last pick of the draft, that's a dynamite risk.
Other than Stroman and possibly Hendricks, the back end of this, the back nine of his picks, I have issues with. Richie tends to sit there very quietly. Doesn't say much. He's not the most colorful person. He likes to play poker and stuff. I think that when he's in his own element, he's better. I feel like he didn't like the 15th pick, but then he kind of loved it because he's the type of guy that he gets to strike. He needs time to catch up.
Yep.
And I think eventually that's what he loved.
Good.
Okay. There's some blips along the way. Okay. But his first 15 or so were pretty solid. I need a little more enthusiasm out of him. Right? He's not the most active guy, communicating guy, trading guy.
Yep.
right?
It's very difficult to trade with.
You know, if he might have just missed with this draft, okay? There's very little speed, okay? His reserves are clogged up already. Okay, if you look at his reserves, he's got Joe Musgrove, Trevor Story, Liam Hendricks.
Well, two of those guys are going to.
No, one guy.
One guy's going.
He's gonna play the reserve, the DL guy, and pick some. But that means what is he doing? Using the waiver wire already. The end result is like Richie just misses here. When Musgrove comes back, and Musgrove, he's coming back really soon. I think people like him. Musgrove is a good 1A to Woodruff. And then that staff gets a little deeper. Woodruff, Musgrove, Luis Garcia, Stroman. Then I worry about Carrasco, Haney, Walker, Rodriguez. You know, Duvall and Robertson. So I'm not going to argue with his pitching staff. I have mixed feelings about this team.
Yep.
Okay. Richie Stark actually had a really good draft. I felt he really did. He's 50-1, just outside contention. Because I like his pitching, but is he going to manage this team properly? No speed, okay? I don't trust O'Neal Cruz. You know, there's some question marks with Jung, Brandon Lowe rebound, Verdugo, Benintendi, Peralta, Yepes. Verdugo, Benintendi, Peralta, Yepes. You got to handle that.
All right.
But overall, I thought Richie had a pretty decent draft, and I think the 15th pick helped him, believe it or not. So 50-1,
one of his better drafts.
Just outside. Anyway, Sal, this video took really long.
It did. Way longer than we
way long.
anticipated.
Why? Why do you think? I took too long talking about the teams?
No, the excitement, and we do get caught up talking about each individual team. But it is what it is. And, you know, for people that a lot of people are going to watch the whole video, maybe during the year, they'll watch the whole video. They don't have to watch it overnight.
Yeah.
And I know almost every team, probably every team, is going to go and watch their individual team once you timestamp.
I think there's two people still looking at us.
I'm sure there are.
The video took long. You know, I will post the minutes that we talk about your team. I think our opening was a little bit long, but we don't mind. You know, the whole live stream idea, I don't know if it worked out or not. You know, we thought it was cool that you guys could watch it while we film it. You know
I think it worked out.
Yeah, it's about 45 minutes longer than usual. We apologize for that. You know, we'll work on stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you know, we do this because we love everybody. It's once a year. It's over with now. The video's over with, you know, and that's that. And, I hope everybody enjoys the odds. You know, we love each other. You know, me and Sal came over and did this. We wore a shirt. We got the background. You know, and I'm going to be doing interviews throughout the year. You guys are going to get to learn. There'll be 20-minute interviews or less to get to learn about the guys in the league. And I wish everybody the best of luck. And it was a great draft.
It was.
It was a lot of fun.
Always
the food was amazing. You know, and I thank everybody. And I'm just going to say it again. If Chris Donnie does not win this league, okay, then something's wrong. Did you like his team that much?
I love this team.
Yeah, right. Did you?
And we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it. That's what. So do you agree with that? He's got one of the favorites.
He's definitely a favorite.
Yeah, great team.
But I think he's a favorite every year.
Yeah. So anyway, everybody, good luck. Goodbye. We love you all. Have a great 2023 Spades season.
See you in the draft next year.
Yeah.